1031. It's an anthology movie, so it's got a lot of directors. Brett DeJager, Rocky Gray, Zane Hirschberger, John William Holt, Hunter Johnson, and Justin Seaman. The summary is basically it's a horror anthology presented by like an Elvira style host named Malvolia. She brings you 5 different stories. Do you have any additional details?
It was distributed by Red Letter Entertainment, and this was put out on DVD as well as VHS. This has the soundtracks on CD, and it has I think a couple different posters for it as well.
Yeah, I've seen several. The movie starts out and introduces you to the horror host Malvolia, who's an actual horror host on YouTube. She has a whole channel.
It felt very natural.
Yeah, and I think everybody can get on board with like a buxom horror host like that. No, you weren't on that?
No, I thought you were going to touch on
them titties.
No.
But she's it always goes there, man. Anyway, she's showing these kids are watching this show, and it goes into the first story, which is the Justin Seaman story, The Old Hag. I thought that The Old Hag was one of the most solid stories in the collection. It really makes you feel uneasy. I assume if you went to bed and breakfasts, you wouldn't want to do it anymore because it's fucking weird. I think the only thing I have to say about it is the hag would have been more effective with less makeup, but it was a dude in there, so that that's what it is. Trespasser was a story about a scarecrow. It was kind of confusing. Could have probably been really good if it had a longer.
How about we just
slow
down a little bit?
How do you want to do
touch
this?
on each?
Okay,
each
well, let's
story?
talk about the old hag first.
Okay.
Basically, the story is these 2 videographers are being paid on Halloween, for whatever reason, to come to this woman's house and talk about shooting an advertisement for her bed and breakfast. Things start going weird, and one of the
Well, it was a good time to do it because they didn't have any guests on
Right.
Halloween.
Yeah,
They always mess stuff up.
Yeah, so the one of the camera guys starts seeing stuff, and things take a turn for the worse. It really, like, that whole building is really creepy. I can't imagine staying in a bed and breakfast.
It's a very cool house.
Yeah. He just keeps seeing things out of the corner of his eye. Weird shit's happening, and at the end, I think everybody dies, right? So, both the dudes die, and the woman finally can get to sleep because she can't sleep.
Right.
Then you want to move on to the next story?
No, I just want to touch on a few
okay.
things. We mentioned the house, the Montgomery Mansion, being a bed and breakfast. I think it was a very cool setting. The house alone created some atmosphere. The old hag I thought looked great, and it appears to be like almost a full body costume.
It is.
Yeah. So I thought she looked creepy. I thought it was great. Again, really good music. The acting was good. It had some great shots. I think being the second thing that I've seen from Justin Seaman, I can start to see his style.
Yeah, for sure.
He has a style to him. I didn't like rate like each segment, but I thought for sure this one stood above the rest. I'm guessing that's kind of why they had it the first.
It's a good way to start the movie off.
But I did kind of rate them in my head as I was watching them, and I think it was almost in chronological order.
Oh, really?
As they went on. I don't know if that's the way they did that, if they intended to do that. Maybe 4 and 5 switch places, but
yeah, this is one of the strongest segments.
Yeah, it was my favorite story for sure.
Jared, what did you think about the first segment? Anything?
Yeah, I thought it was one of the. I think my two favorites from it were the first one and then the roller skating.
Yeah,
one.
that was a really strong one.
Those are the two standout ones. And again, it's low budget horror, but it's done in a way that you can tell watching it, but it doesn't feel like it. Like a lot of the common things you expect from low budget horror, which is great ideas in shitty made movies. This is really cool ideas done well, just without the money to polish. So, and I think most of them, we're not getting too far in it. I think the last one was the only one that I kind of,
Really?
yeah.
Well,
But yeah, the Old Hag, was that what it's called?
Yeah.
I can't remember the name. Old Hag and the roller skating rink one were definitely the two that stood out the most.
The one that comes after the Old Hag is called Trespassers. It's basically about what is it? A couple that are going out to see some old scarecrow that has.
They're on a date. They go to a movie that sucked. I think they may even walked out on it.
Right.
Yeah.
So they want to do something else. It's Halloween. She wants to get scared.
Yeah. So they go out to this old house that has a scarecrow that has lore about it. I think that this could have been fucking awesome if it was a whole full length movie. Like if they had time to flesh out what exactly was happening, because I have no idea what fucking happened in this segment, aside from the thing comes to life and kills him, and then he becomes the thing, or what? It's just confusing.
This was Zane Hirschberger's, by the way.
This wasn't one of my favorite segments. I mean, it was all right. It was strong. It wasn't as strong as the Old Hag or Killing the Dance, which is my favorite segment, I think. But it was all right. You got anything on this one?
Yeah. First of all, I don't know. I guess I love scarecrows in movies.
Right.
I just think that they're creepy, and they always remind me. They just automatically give you the feel of fall time, Halloween. The music in this one was great. Scarecrow looked good. It was a decent story. Had some gore to it. The acting kind of takes a step back a little bit. I think this was my second best segment in it. And I was a little confused why the first Scarecrow had on. I think he was wearing a leather jacket. I was like, why? You're making a scarecrow, like that's a cool iconic figure, and then you put a leather jacket on him. But like you said, whoever gets killed, whatever they're wearing, they go up as a scarecrow. So yeah, that made sense.
I think it would have been like if they could have taken, because they had like a thing about a family, like that old family that was supposed to own that property. If they would have had time to make that a whole movie, they could have done a whole fucked up weird thing where that was like the fucking. Like a whole religion around it or whatever, all kinds of shit. But it was a strong segment. Anything else on that one? You want to move on? Anyway? The third segment is Killing the Dance. This is definitely my favorite segment.
Jason Turner's. It's
about some kids, they're closing down they close the roller rink for the night for like a private Halloween party, right? And it turns out that there's a killer in the midst, and what really creepy fucking cowboy costume. That was the thing that really made me like love it. I was like, that's a fucked up costume, and to have a straight razor as the weapon, and just there's a lot of blood and crazy shit in this segment. I loved it a lot. And the twist at the end of it was that it was the mother the whole time. Ouch!
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Should have said that beforehand.
No, we all of our shows are spoilers. So if you don't know that by now,
yeah. So what do you think about this one?
Well, speaking of costumes, did you pick up on all the Karate Kid costumes?
No, I didn't. Actually.
Like the Cobra Kai, they wear those skeleton costumes,
right.
And then they even had Ralph's shower. He's a shower for their Halloween thing, and this was even in it. So I thought that was pretty funny. Some Easter eggs there, I guess.
Oh, I fucking forgot about the very end. I forgot the mom.
Okay,
the mom has the twist, and then there's the son who blows her head up. Holy fuck! I fucking forgot all about that. That just popped in my head. I had to say something about it. The kid pulls his mask off, and he's like what do you say the proper term for it is the thing?
I have a telekinetic monster.
Yeah, he looks like Jason Voorhees, kind of, but he blows the mother's head up. Oh, it's fantastic. Anyways, continue, Jason.
Anyway, I thought the skating rink was a cool setting. It was something different.
Takes you back to Skateland.
Don't see too many of them.
Yeah, everybody skate.
But a lot of the segment was just people skating around. It was getting to be a bit much, a bit long, just skating.
They
around.
ride the suspense.
But
a lot.
yeah, they are panning back and forth. I get it. The music helps pace this segment. And yeah, it pays off at the end with the twist. Mikey, the brother, ends up being a telekinetic monster, and the mom ends up being the cowboy. I think this is probably the third. My third favorite segment.
Literally going right.
Yeah,
now.
like I said, but I think maybe 4 and 5 might
Yeah,
be
I
switched.
can see how that happens. Did you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, this was the other one. Like I said, this one and the first one were kind of tied for my two favorite, and this one was a little bit crazier, and the payoff I thought was strong.
It
but
had to have that payoff.
the reason this wasn't my favorite is what you had said. There's a little too much of people. It just feels people skating. The first one is smoother. It's more
Polished.
Yeah. The story in a whole. This one, the story isn't through it is gets a little slow, but the payoff I felt was really strong.
So yeah, and like I think what the girl that was skating around, I guess she was going to go home with that one chick.
Yeah.
Like they just it was just her skating around, but she looked good, so I understand it.
But yeah, it the strong points of this one and the weak points of this one, and then the first one, they kind of level out, so they're tied for me. But those are the two. Those are the two I think are most noteworthy.
The next segment is called the Halloween Blizzard of '91. Do you have the director on this?
It's the Brett D. Yeager.
Okay, this one I fucking didn't like at all. I did not like it. Keep Santa Claus out of my Halloween movies for fuck's sake. And also decide, is it the trick-or-treating kids that are doing the damage, or is it Santa Claus? Because I need you to decide on what it is. And also keep Santa Claus out of my Halloween movies. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's all you got to say?
That's all I gotta say. It wasn't my cup of tea.
The shots from the outside of the house, looking at the house, I thought looked cool. With the snow falling, obviously they had that CG, but I don't know. I liked that. That was a good shot. The sister-in-law, all right, is walking around the house in her panties, and like everyone's cool with that.
That's what you
Well,
did.
I think the guy almost he would have fucked her. Probably.
He did. He
did a little bump.
Yeah.
He,
Well,
gave her a
you
little
don't walk
bump.
around in your panties. I mean, that's the
That's the rule of the house.
don't walk around in your panties. Speaking of the Santa Claus, I thought he looked really good. I thought the Santa Claus looked better than what most Santa Clauses do in
that's
Christmas
true.
movies.
Yeah, but keep it in the Christmas horror. I mean, put it in the.
Okay, I could.
I don't
Yeah,
mind
I
Christmas
can agree.
horror, but this is a
I can
Halloween
agree.
movie, dude.
I can kind of agree with that. But yeah, I was a little confused on the story as well. Santa saves the good kids, and the bad kids.
Yeah, it's like if you
love Halloween.
if you love if you
I'm a little
love
confused.
Christmas, Santa Claus is going to come and help you out. And if you love Halloween, you're fucking dead, brother.
Yeah, the acting is rough in this.
The quality dropped off, I thought, quite a bit.
Yeah, I think I have this down as my fourth favorite, but again, 4 and 5 can kind of switch places. So, Jared,
Yeah, I thought it was a fun idea. I'm not as against the idea as Frank is.
yeah, he's really like I don't. You got something against Santa.
It's
I don't like Christmas at all.
I mean,
usually.
it was mixed in with the Halloween. Like
Yeah, and I enjoyed.
they were
all
kinda
the-
fighting
all-
each other.
All
Yeah,
the Christmas movies we watched are great.
It's a
I love
fun
them,
idea over things we all know. Like, people that like Halloween more than Christmas, and we know people who have. I mean, no one's fought about it, but yeah, I've heard the conversations of why one's better. That and it's a fun idea to explore. It wasn't explored. It wasn't explored in a way that made me turn it off, but also not in a way that.
Did you understand what was going on?
Yeah, it's. I think the overall idea is it's just Christmas versus Halloween. Nitpicking the specifics of it is defeatist.
Like I felt like it was right there, and I felt stupid for not quite understanding. But
No, there was no connection. I don't know what happened.
It's again, it's an indie low budget horror version of the idea of Christmas versus Halloween. I think going into it any further is...
I think time restraints had a lot of like effect on these segments. Like, oh, we got this much time. Fuck.
Yeah, again, and like you guys was, I mean, I would switch. 1 and 3 are kind of tied for me. Then it's 2, 4, and 5.
At the same time, though, you only have to make a good movie for 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, so it's a funny idea.
I just thought it was
it was a funny enough idea that kept me entertained enough that I went right on into 5. So I mean,
see, for me, they could have removed it and it would have made it like a much better movie.
well, let's talk about the 5th one.
The 5th one is called the Sam Hain Slasher. And this one, I'm surprised you guys don't have this higher than you do, because I thought it could have, like, if they take this, they could have made this a franchise. I think that character is strong enough to do that.
Did you hear my stomach rumble?
yes.
That's what I wanted.
You get a sandwich in this guy.
Let's go.
Lost it.
This is a very, I think it's a strong segment. And there's a reason they use this for a lot of the artwork, I think, because the character could be its own thing. But you guys felt differently? What were the downfalls for this for you guys? Just standard generic slasher?
Nothing grabbed me. I have good music. I was lost with this story as well. Between the Sam Hain killer and all the supernatural stuff that happened, I almost felt like, just pick one and roll with that.
You got 15 minutes.
Yeah, like just
you only need one.
The killer's cool enough, and supernatural stuff's cool on its own. So I don't know, and it had some cool effects.
Yeah, I think a lot of these segments people were trying to get, like some of these segments in these anthologies have been made into full-length movies. Like you could just watch Terrifier or whatever. Wasn't that from an anthology originally?
Yeah, All Hallows Eve.
Yeah, so it can happen.
And there's another low-budget horror movie. It seems like that's all I've been watching lately. And I should have checked this out because I'm seeing it on paper now. Like, I think the music's good in every segment. So there it is again.
You need some fucking sandwiches.
I wonder if maybe the same guy did the music over all of them.
Might have. But yeah, for me, it was the bottom. It's cool stuff and just executed in a way that was. I don't know that. I don't know that 4 was better than 5, but
I'll probably switch it every time I watch it.
It had a more original idea, I guess, than what was going on, and 5 might make a better. 5 would definitely make a better movie if you had a concise movie put out of it, but
yeah,
it then 4, but it kind of bored me, I guess.
But I give this a 9 because I think it's one of the best overall horror anthologies I've ever seen. I haven't watched a lot of them though.
Wow.
You've probably seen a lot more, but I think this is stronger than Creepshow 2, and Creepshow 2 is a pretty good anthology. I think. I mean, think of the segments in Creepshow 2. There's the wooden chief. I really
like Creepshow 2.
There's the wooden chief. Which is all right.
Which is great.
What other segments are in that movie?
Well, let's not get on Creepshow.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying, I liked it more than Creepshow 2.
Okay.
Not more than Creepshow 1, but definitely more than Creepshow 2.
I really liked the what's her name, Malvolia.
Oh yeah.
I think they could have worked her in between each segment.
Surprised they didn't.
I think she was in the beginning and the end, but no, I would have worked her.
Just stop there.
Any chance you can get her in there?
Come on now, we're professionals here. No, I would have worked her in between the segment.
It would have made more sense if they would have worked her in between the segments. Just work her out.
Jesus Christ. I apologize to whoever the actress is.
Hashtag me too.
No, I liked it. I had great music overall. Some segments were a little weak, but I think you have that in any anthology. Overall, I thought the stories were good. And again, it's a Halloween anthology, so I'm going to bring this out every October for sure. I gave it a 6.
I am with Jason as well. I too gave it a 6. Anthologies are not high on. I'm not big on anthologies. I don't dislike them, but I can't think. Trick or Treat, I think, is the only one I can think of that.
I love anthologies.
Yeah, I think it's the only one I can.
A big old list of them.
I think it's the only one I can think of that I've ever watched that I was like, and nothing against the things in anthologies, but when you do an anthology as a whole, it's like anything. It's like a book or whatever. You're going to get some good ones, and you're going to get some stinkers. So anthologies are tough to, on a whole, be like, that's really good. Trick or Treat is one of the few that I like that movie beginning to end. The Halloween theme, I think, might be in it too, because I found that this is a stronger one for me than other anthology movies, and it might be because I like the idea of Halloween stories.
Love them.
As a little bit. So I think the Halloween vibe works for this, so I would probably watch this again before most other anthologies that I've watched.
Terrifier from 2017. Summary: a maniacal clown named Art terrorizes 3 young women on Halloween night.
That's not a summary.
And everyone else who stands in the way. What?
That's not a summary.
It's not?
That is a full, intricate depiction of the story that takes place.
Yeah, there's not a lot of story here, but I mean, how many times do murderers have stories?
Doesn't work against it.
No.
Just making a point.
Written and directed by Damien Leon, who previously had... This was a
Leon?
Leon?
Damien Leon, I believe.
This was actually his featured character from All Hallows Eve, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he did a movie I'm going to look up, Frankenstein versus the Mummy. That looks interesting, too. I want to get Jared's opinion on this first, because he said previously that scary clowns are like skulls with mean faces, and I just wanted to know what you thought about this guy. Oh, okay, he's got Skittles. All right, well, I thought this clown is fucking great. I mean, the whole. I hope they do a lot of these movies. Mm-hmm. I hope this continues on, because this dude is way fucking cooler than Pennywise.
Do you have the guy's name?
No, I don't. Unfortunately,
does such a great job. This is such a great character, Art the Clown. He's just a complete nut, a creep. Like he does such a great job with this character.
Blatantly insane. The movie starts out with a great kill scene that's kind of confusing, because it's a TV host getting murdered in her dressing room by a deformed guest who is allegedly a victim of Art's. And that kind of wraps up back in the end. It's the character that makes it through the film, actually. There's some really nasty gore in this movie, particularly the hacksaw scene where, I mean, he just splits this woman in two. It's vulgar. It's really fucked up, man. He's a really ruthless murderer. It really starts getting crazy when he's wearing the woman's like scalp and her cut off breasts. It really starts ramping up, and then the last 20 minutes of the movie is just crazy. Yeah, it makes this dude makes Pennywise look like a fucking Looney Tune. It's almost too violent for me, but I fucking loved it. I gave it an 8 out of 10.
John,
okay. Yeah, what do you think? Scary Clown.
Yeah, it works great in this movie. Normally not big on him, but I don't know. I don't know if maybe it's because he's a mime and in black and white.
He has just a great personality. He's a great guy,
but I don't. And maybe he is clearly a scary clown. I'll admit they made him look scary, but he's not exaggerated. I mean, like his teeth are really about the only thing. I mean, he's pretty just standard. Other than right here, they give him a long pointy nose, but like he doesn't have big fangs or the big over-the-top evil eyes, or it's just a dude with weird teeth and clown makeup. So I guess if you're going to do a scary clown, that's how I think it looks good. And like Jason was saying, he's a nut. He's just a psycho doing psycho things. the movie has shock. Like, I've never seen a movie with you can't have a movie with less storyline. There is no storyline. There is no story to tell. They don't even, like, they're talking about him on the radio. They don't even give you, like, escaped lunatic from the asylum or escape, like, let you know that they give you.
I'll have to go back. I want to go back and watch All Hallows Eve. I've only watched it once, and it was a few years ago. I don't know, and I can't imagine they do, because that's a horror anthology, so it's going to be short, just a short segment. But I want to go back and see if there's any kind of story that, like, maybe you're just automatically supposed to know about him.
They don't tell you anything about him, where he came from, why he's doing it. None of the main characters that he is hunting and chasing, they give you no backstory on any of them. There's no story,
and it doesn't matter.
And and that's. I mean, it was crazy how little story there is, but it didn't hurt the movie at all. I think for as little story as there is, it was a little long. You could have cut some of the chase scenes out. That's really the only negative I got against it. The blood in it is gruesome. The acting, I guess, isn't great, apart from Art, who is fantastic. But you don't care. I mean, this is a movie made that knows exactly why it was made and exactly who it was made for. It is just a bloody movie of a guy running around killing people bloodily.
What'd you give it?
I gave it a 7.
Yeah. So, this isn't paying homage to the 80s, but this has a very 80s slasher feel to it. Like, it's there.
Take the story out of a slasher movie, and it's the formula that's left over.
Yeah. Great soundtrack. This movie, I love it. They did a phenomenal job of the soundtrack. It's fun. It's freaking crazy. I love the character. I think I said earlier, other than Sam from Trick or Treat, like, this is one of my favorite horror characters that's come out recently. It looks good. It feels good. There's practical effects. There's lots of gore. Like Frank said, it may have been even a bit much for him. It was done on a low budget and done really well.
Yeah, it's for the other thing, like these type of splatter movies that all that's going after is the kill. It looks great.
Yeah.
I don't know I've ever seen one done that's shot that well.
Yeah.
For just...
It looks good. It feels good. Sounds great. I think it was, for a low budget movie, you can't ask for much more. I gave it an 8.
Yeah, it was strong. Like I said, I probably gave it an 8 if they'd have trimmed 15 minutes off of it.
I didn't get that.
Yeah, it got a little long.
Hour 22 minutes.
It was almost real time.
I think they could have barely went over an hour.
Suppose.
Like I said earlier, it feels to me like an original and a sequel slammed together, because he's chasing these two women, kills some people, catches the women. They've pretty much been the only characters really in the story. About halfway through the story, a little over, he kills both of them. All the main characters are dead. Then the sister comes into the movie looking for one of the ones he killed, and it recycles the slasher formula back through a second time as he chases her. So it was almost like 2 40-minute movies, original and a sequel, that pick up right after. It felt like that to me. But just with his little story, you could have trimmed the chase scenes, some of the extra, just cut it down, because by the second time cycling through, it's like, okay, yeah, just get it on. I didn't get that at all. I got it. But not so bad that I shut it. I was like, oh god. I gave it a 7. I would have gave it an 8 if it wasn't like that. So doesn't ruin it by far. If you're watching this movie, you're watching it for one.
What'd you give it, Frank?
Oh, I give it an 8.
Oh,
could have been right there.
Could have been certified.
The Tales of Halloween, 2015.
Explaining these fucking anthologies.
Yeah. 10 stories. 10 of them, Jared.
If you don't, well, I mean, we can go.
I got little pieces to talk about each one. 10 stories are woven together by their shared theme of Halloween night in an American suburb where ghouls, imps, aliens, and axe murderers appear for one night only to terrorize unsuspecting residents. There were too many writers and directors for me to list.
A bunch of
them all
writers,
off.
a bunch of directors.
But I do want to list off some of the cast highlights because I think that's interesting. You got Adrienne Barbeau as the radio DJ narrating this movie. Caroline Williams, who was Stretch from Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Robert Russler from Nightmare on Elm Street 2 and Thrashin'. Barry Bostwick from Rocky Horror Picture Show and Spin City. Adrian Curry. Lynn Shay from Kingpin, the Insidious films. Barbara Crampton. Lisa Marie, who played Vampira in Ed Wood. Mick Garris. Stuart Gordon. Dana Gould. John Landis. Joe Dante. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That's a lot of
I'm not kidding.
fucking people.
A lot of people.
But let's go through these little segments.
Well, hold on, we got a
wait.
tagline here. One
Details.
night, one town, 10 chilling stories. It's distributed by Epic Pictures Releasing and was out on Blu-ray in 2016, which I picked up. I think I rented this movie at first. This may have been the first movie I ever rented. Or bought the digital, rented the digital, whatever. But yeah, as soon as this came out on a physical copy, I picked it up.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this a lot overall. But the first segment is called Sweet Tooth. A boy is told an ominous story about a candy fiend who really wants you to share your candy, and if you don't, he'll kill you and eat it out of your gutted stomach. There's a great hatchet kill in this flashback where they're telling this story. And the character's great. I thought it was a unique Halloween kind of mythology. What did you guys think of this segment?
That's exactly my thoughts. It's good. It's a good Halloween story.
Jared, thoughts on this? Any thoughts?
I'll let you guys go through doing these anthologies. We just
Okay.
Yeah, we don't have to go through. I mean, honestly, and you can make up your mind if you want to do it. But I started I was taking notes, jotting some things down through the movies, and after I got through like the fourth episode, I'm like, well, I've already seen this before. It's like all of these are good stories. Like, there's obviously some are better than others, and I think like Sweet Tooth and some of the ones towards the beginning are actually some of the best ones. But overall, like, there's no really stinkers. So like they all look good, they all sound good. The lighting on every single one of these are just, I mean, the cinematography, it's beautiful for like a lower budget movie. This looks like it's polished. It's got all the bells and whistles. Like, it's very well done. And it's right up there with Trick or Treat for me. Well, I'll just go ahead and tell you, I gave this a 10, and it's I still would put Trick or Treat above it, but they're both right there next to each other. So I gave this one a 10.
Yeah, I gave it a 9. There were so many good things about it. My favorite ones being, I love the segment with Dana Gould where they're fighting about Halloween lights, but that's just because I can imagine him being like that because he loves old horror so much. And
the Halloween vibe in this and the atmosphere is just, it's off the charts. It's phenomenal the way it feels, the way this looks and feels.
And the one that could have really went bad was the last one, Bad Seed, about the killer jack-o'-lantern, but it was really good. I mean, I was like, that looks fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And
the one I didn't expect to really care for when I first seen what it was when they're doing the kind of the Jason ripoff with the little animated alien. That was funny as with the Jason, when the serial killer Jason figure is aggravated at this alien because it keeps saying trick or treat. You could see him get frustrated and
that was the one thing out of this whole movie that when that alien comes up, I'm like, that looks like shit. Yeah. But then that segment's great. It's so fun.
It is. And it's like and it has almost like an Evil Dead feel to it, the way they like they get possessed and
I ended up liking that way more.
Whenever
it first started, I was like, what the fuck? But then it delivered.
Same thing.
Yeah. What'd you give it, Jared?
I'll give it a 7. I try not to be too anthologies
aren't always my thing.
Yes, dear, we hear this all the time.
Well, and I know why I can explain it. The story ends and my attention is done. But then there's another story, but it's completely different, and I'm not ready to start new attention. This one, it's a really good-looking movie for
Beautiful, and it sounds good too. I watch all my movies in surround sound, and this is another one that just sounds phenomenal.
It's very Halloween-y. It's made really well. There's probably a good 3 or 4 of them that I couldn't even tell you what happened. I know I watched it, but it's just it's too many little stories all in one little for me to follow through on everything. So, but it's really well made. So if anthologies are your thing, it's a really solidly made one, and it probably a little more than I actually enjoyed it, but I think it probably is deserving of a 7 because what I didn't enjoy of it is the anthologies.
The atmosphere, the way it looks, and the way it makes you feel is worth 7 alone.
Yeah, it's solid.
The stories
made.
could have been.
And
it's an hour and 32 minutes, so it's not 10 stories. They could have been easily over 2 hours. So they kept it down. And they're all different directors, but they all have that same look and
I don't know if
feel to
that
it.
helped it for me. 10 stories in the shorter time made it even harder for me to pay attention to some of them. Just one will end and be like, okay, that's done, and then the next one's halfway over before I'm even. So
I'm just saying, if you don't like anthologies, it's not like it's.
Yeah,
don't get scared away by 10 stories because it's.
I don't hate anthologies, but I usually only like 2 or 3. In one with multiples like 6, I usually only end up liking 2, and in ones that have 3, I usually only end up liking 1 because that's about all my attention. I can get into a longer story, but when you shorten the story and then try to toss another one in, my brain's like, I already got one. I already got a story. I'm done. But so I try not to be too hard on the anthologies because they are what they are.
Yeah, I was gonna pick another one for our next get together, but I was like, Jared's probably needing a break from those.
Yeah, and I don't hate them. I mean, go ahead and pick them if you like them. It's not like it's torture to watch. Trick or Treat is the only anthology movie I can think that I'm like, I'll put that in because I enjoy it all the way through like any other movie. Every other anthology, it's
this one
I could watch this scene.
This one did get approved though, regardless. So you should watch it. While watching 2 children on Halloween night, a babysitter finds an old VHS tape in the kids' trick-or-treat bag. The tape features 3 tales of terror, all linked together by a murderous clown. As the night goes on, strange things begin to occur in the house. It isn't long before the babysitter learns the horrifying truth. The maniacal clown is slowly working his way into her reality. Written and directed by Damien Leone, who did Terrifier, and this goddamn Frankenstein versus the Mummy movie, which I gotta watch it, man. It looks good. I mentioned it when we did Terrifier, but it looks like a good film.
Pick it.
What do you got? Details?
Distributed by Image Entertainment, and the Blu-ray release 2014. I don't know if this has a standalone release or not, but the one I have is a double featured. Comes with Mischief Night, which I think is another Halloween movie, but I haven't got to see that yet. But this is pretty cheap online, so if you like Art the Clown, I'd pick it up.
Yeah, I believe that I watched this on Facebook, on a Facebook group watch. I think so. Yeah, with Angela Mole, I believe. Fuck, I can't remember. Somebody was watching with me. Art the Clown is really good in this. He is the same clown from Terrifier. But it's a different guy that plays him in this, and I think the other guy does it a little better. I don't know if that's just my opinion.
Is it a different guy?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. The first segment...
Yes, the guy in Terrifier does it better. And whatever they do with the makeup differently, too, he looks better in Terrifier.
Yeah, the first segment involves a demon, a pregnant lady, and other supernatural nonsense, but I don't think it belongs in the world of... Like, Art the Clown is there also. Like, he took these people down there, right? Like, Art took these women down into this thing, and I don't think that kind of magic or demon or whatever belongs in the Art the Clown realm, but I didn't create it, so whatever. He also, his eyes glow also, which is like, I'm like, is that like a Pennywise thing, like a Deadlights thing? Because it was really reminiscent of that. The second segment had promise until they revealed a fucking alien thing.
Yeah, the alien is ridiculous. Me and Jared was talking beforehand.
I liked this one.
I said, like, the alien story doesn't really fit, I don't think. But even if it did, like, the alien is so ridiculous. If I would wake up and find that in my house, I would think a scuba diver was in my house. And he even walks around like he's like a scuba diver in water, like floating around. Like, it's the most ridiculous thing.
Why would they put that in this? It seems like, and I'm surprised that Tales from Halloween didn't do it, because it seems like every Halloween anthology, they're like, let's put an alien segment in there, or any anthology, let's put an alien segment in there. No.
Well, I guess there was one in Tales from Halloween. That's what we were just talking about.
Was there? Oh yeah, I forgot.
that one was good, though.
Oh yeah, there was one in the last one we watched too.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
can't remember the name of it.
I was thinking of the.
Was it made by the people that made the barn? Did we watch
1031? Yeah, there was an alien in there.
Yeah.
But there's always a fucking alien one. Keep your goddamn peanut butter out of my chocolate or whatever, you know.
I like peanut butter and chocolate, and I'll be honest, I liked the alien in this one. I liked the alien in 1031. Dip it right in. They're going to make me watch them. Give me something. Give me an alien.
The third segment is basically an Art the Clown segment. It's all him. And this girl she fucking killed herself, man. She had a full tank of gas. She could have just kept going and going and going and going and driving and going away from him. But she had to fuck around with her phone, so she killed herself, basically, as far as I'm concerned. A great ending to this segment. It reminded me of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre a little bit. And I liked how they, at the end of this, they brought Art out of the VHS, like whatever that was. He was behind her. That was really cool. It was this was clearly like a way to showcase this character, though, right? To get a full film.
I mean, I don't know if that's how they intended on doing it. I think they happened to stumble across something that's really good and people liked. Like, Art the Clown got a cult following, like with this release.
I definitely hope that they keep this series up. But I think watching this after watching Terrifier is kind of like listening to old Syd Barrett Pink Floyd after you've listened to Dark Side of the Moon. It's just a little bit not quite the same. I give it a 7 out of 10 though. I enjoyed it. What do you say?
The very first thing, I mean, right away, it's Art the Clown. He's great. He's one of my favorite new horror characters. The stories in this is not the strongest. It does have some good practical effects. I think the concept was good. It's just it's not like as polished as, say, Tales from Halloween, which may have been kind of unfair to this movie because I watched this right after I watched Tales of Halloween. So seeing them back to back, there's a big difference. The acting struggles, and there's not really much of a soundtrack or any kind of. There's no real strong vibe, I guess. But I do like it. I gave it a 6.
I gave this one a 7 too, for the opposite reasons of Tales of Halloween. Tales of Halloween's really well put together. I don't know if it's because it's only 3 in this one, or they tied them together well, or I just like.
There's just some.
I just
really good people behind.
Yeah,
there's some really good directors on Tales from.
Well, I mean on Hallows Eve, like the story, I enjoyed watching this one more than Tales from Halloween, but it's not made as good from Tales of Halloween. So I give them both 7s, but for opposite reasons. The one's made better. This one I enjoyed a little bit more of. I liked the alien story. I liked the demon thing in the beginning too. You're right that that doesn't feel like Art, I guess.
He seemed more like a real character in Terrifier. Like a real, like that could be a guy.
But yeah, Art is the last one I thought is kind of the oddball, actually. Art's popular, so no one's really going to be like, that's the one that doesn't fit. But it is, because the other two are different feeling than Art.
Yeah, it would be like if in Creepshow during the third act they just went to just the cartoon just for like a segment.
But yeah, I like this one. I thought the story's good. They all could have been made a little bit better, but I enjoyed watching this all the way through more. So 7 out of 10.
Beyond the Gates from 2016, directed by Jackson Stewart. Here's the summary. Two estranged brothers reunite at their missing father's video store and find a VCR board game dubbed Beyond the Gates that holds a connection to their father's disappearance. Jason, did you have any additional information?
I do. This has a tagline: press, play, and pray. Distributed by IFC Midnight, which we've done a couple of those already. And it was put out on Blu-ray by Scream Factory in 2017.
Yeah, it's...
And Jared's also mentioned Supernatural several times, and he Jackson Stewart also did some writing on there.
Yeah.
It's also got a lot of purple in it.
A lot of purple, like
pink, blues, and purples. Yes,
I like the colors a lot.
A lot of purple.
Most of the things I enjoyed about this movie had nothing to do with the storyline, though. I'll be honest. Here's the list of things I really enjoyed about this movie. The fucking video store. I want that place. I want to own that place. I want to live in it. Really. I mean, just be in there.
That would be something. That'd be nice to inherit.
That is and they're
Here,
just
this is yours
disassembling.
now.
They're disassembling it. They're just tearing it down.
As soon as they walked in, they want to box it up.
Yeah. The VHS game itself brought back memories of me really wanting to play those things, but I don't think I ever did. Did you guys?
Yes, I did.
Which one did you play? Nightmare?
Yeah, that seems to be the most popular one. And yeah, I played the crap out of that game. I never owned it, but had friends across the street and down the way who had it.
Man, I always wanted to play that shit. I just never got to. I liked all the horror references throughout the movie. I think that I heard the name Hardesty thrown around. There was little like nods to horror throughout the whole thing. Of course, Barbara Crampton is fucking still beautiful as shit. I like
Barbara Crampton,
and very highly effective as like a creepy ghost figure type thing.
She was a producer too, wasn't she?
Yeah. Yep. I like the idea of the movie a lot, but not necessarily the execution. I think I wanted more out of it. Like I wanted more shit to happen board game related, but not a whole lot of. It's kind of uneventful. Basically.
Well, yeah, I know what you mean. Wanted more to happen. Like once they started playing the game, I really wanted something more. But then again, it's low budget. You can you do what you can. So I think the easiest thing to do is throw some lights in there, make it colorful.
Yeah, the colors were really fantastic. But
great theme song too. The way it comes in, and then showing the workings of a VCR.
Oh yeah,
that was awesome.
Yeah, there was a lot of things I enjoyed about it, but I wanted more of a Jumanji kind of thing. I wanted like bats and shit. Like I wanted it to be horrored out, like werewolves and shit. Why wasn't there just werewolves everywhere?
Again, it's budget.
Yeah, it's true. Overall, it was fine the way they did things. I gave it a 6 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. Who's next?
Frank got to the rating right away.
Well, I mean, we take turns.
I really, really wanted to like this, and I do. But like you said, I kind of was left wanting a little bit more. Some of the complaints I've seen is the fact that, like, once they start playing the game, that's all they do is just kind of. They're still in the house just with pink, purple, and blue lights. It's slow in some parts, especially in the first act. There's not a lot of kills, but the kills that they do have, I think were great. Mm-hmm. They were almost that over the top practical. You got heads exploding, and the guy they're using the. It was the guy's friend in the bar.
Yeah, like the voodoo doll.
Yeah, they tear open the doll to get the key. That was great. This also has a really great poster. Great music. It's very nostalgic. The story's cool. The acting, it's okay. Yeah. Again, Barbara Crampton's in there. I would have liked for her to have like
more of an active
a bigger role. I mean, she was
in it all the time, but
yeah, she plays the host on the tape for the game. I think if you grew up in the 90s, especially if you played these games, it's a must-see. I gave it an 8.
Yeah, I gave it an 8 as well. But I give it an 8, but I talked to a couple other people about it too. It's not an 8.
Yeah, I'm guessing the same for you and me is the nostalgia part of it brought it up.
Yeah, it's not an 8. It's a kind of messy movie. Like, I kept wondering, they'll start playing, and very early on, it's like, we can't stop playing. We have to play. And then they just kind of stop playing. Like, they'll be like, I'm going to go to bed, or I'm going to eat dinner, and then the next day comes around, and they're playing again. And it's like, we can't stop playing, or she'll get mad. And then it's like, yeah, I'm just going to sit around. And, like, it's very stop and start.
The way that she's just always active. Like, could you turn that off? If you knew you're like, she was like responding to you, and you knew that she was always just staring out of your TV actively, there.
The thing that gets
It'd
me
be out the front door. It wouldn't be in my VCR.
The thing that gets me is like they'll go back to the video store and just start cleaning up videos again.
Yeah,
that happened after like the first or second one. Or they'll just eat they'll cook dinner.
Well, you got to eat.
But you're kind of realize you're trapped in the middle of this horror game.
Yeah, no, and
then you just stop. Like, for sure. Maybe it's not, and so it's not. Yeah, like, I give it an 8, but it's purely on enjoyment.
Right.
I enjoyed it as an 8. One of the things I liked most about it is I think this is the most. Like, there's a big nostalgia feel, but it didn't remind me of like The Void or Stranger Things, where I felt like they were obviously, there's a few parts, but where they're obviously tipping their hands to nostalgia, it felt authentic. Like, if I would not have read this or known who Barbara Crampton is and seen that she's older, I think this is believably, film quality wise, everything about it, how it plays, it's believably a movie from the late 80s or early 90s. Like, some of it is bad just in the way those movies are bad. That's not a like tip to the hat, like, you remember when movies kind of did this? It's bad in the same way. And so like a lot of the things where I got the real nostalgia feels weren't things they were like winking or nodding. It was like, oh, that wasn't very good, but in a way that a lot of movies I loved growing up weren't very good. It really, so I give it an 8 because I thought it was fun as shit. If I was actually ranking it on how solid of a movie it is, it would be lower.
Yeah, it's slower.
Yeah,
and not a lot happens. And again, once they start playing the game, the only thing that's really different is the colors. But the colors are beautiful.
Yeah,
I love it. I love the way it looks.
The thing that I thought was weird, well, it was funny, was when I was looking up, like before I watched it, just doing a little research, I was like, I can't find a single fucking picture of anything that happens in the movie. It's because it was so sparse with things.
Well, yeah, there's 4 keys in the game, so there was probably 4 deaths.
Yeah, there's 4 deaths, but then they die again.
So that's why the trailer was so vague.
Yeah, and then someone comes in from beyond the gates. There may be 5 or 6.
Yeah, but it was. I mean, it's really, it wasn't over the top, like the way some of the new movies that are trying to do the throwbacks to the 80s do what they did back then, but over the top. It wasn't. It's like a lot of those late 80s movies where you get it and it looks like it's going to be great, but you find out that they didn't do as much as you wanted with it. There weren't as many deaths as you hoped. It was very...
another great character in this, and actually people are... Well, he's right... what's his name? Jackson Stewart. He's writing part 2. But what a lot of people are hoping for is the character that was inside the store.
Yeah.
That weird guy. They go to the store to try to find where the dad purchased the game. They're hoping for kind of a spin-off of just...
Oh, that'd be good.
Just him. He has a good character. I mean,
and his store, I imagine you could fill it with all sorts of...
Yeah.
You could do an anthology movie.
You could pass this game around a lot of times.
It wouldn't even have to be the game. Like anything in that store, you some kind of a curse.
You could do an anthology movie.
Yeah, but actually, I think it was on the news segment for the last show.
Oh,
yeah. He's writing part 2.
If you get the really nostalgic feels from late 80s, early 90s. It's worth a watch because it's fun. But if you don't, you're probably going to say, well, that's an idea that they didn't do near enough with and was kind of boring.
You could almost say if you didn't appreciate horror like as much as we do, you might say you just watched some people play a board game. But up first, we're going to talk about my unfortunate choice of Boys.
Why do you say unfortunate?
Because it's not. I don't feel it's a good review.
Well,
for
let's
the
go.
show.
Let's go ahead. Come on.
I picked Boys in the Trees based solely on some artwork I saw. Some of it looked like it was the sequel to Twilight, and some of it looked pretty cool. The summary for this movie is: on Halloween 1997, two estranged teen skaters embark on a surreal journey through their memories, dreams, and fears. Written by Nicholas Verso and just directed by him as well. Just for fun, I looked at the tags for this movie, and here are some of my favorite plot keywords that you can find this movie for. They'll just go along with it. They're tags. Halloween costume, skateboarding, wolf mask, wolf costume, estranged friend, sitting in a tree, internet porn, drinking vodka from the bottle, teenage drinking, watching porn on the internet, dial-up connection, teenage friends, rekindling friendships, shirtless male. Would you think that... Do they drink vodka out of a bottle?
Yeah.
Do people search for that to find movies?
Where's the porn come in at?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
remember.
remember.
Just because they're teenagers? Or you just... It's just a given that porn's in
Well,
their
it's
life.
1997. If there was internet porn in this movie,
Dial-up.
it was like waiting 5 minutes for a picture.
A little bit at a time.
Yeah, you can see oh yeah, they're coming now. Here's the boobs.
ASL, please.
By the time
10 for 10.
By the time you get a full thumb in there, you're done anyways. Shutting it off.
Oh, it's so good.
You don't make it past the navel.
One of the basically what happens in this movie is that there's this kid who's he's not a good kid. None of these kids are good kids, and they're fucking with this other kid, this other little nerdy kid.
The good kid. He's a good kid.
He's a good little, but he seems like he's a
two
lot
good
younger
kids.
than them. Evidently,
No, he's just smaller.
yeah, he's just a small kid. But but they fuck with
I
him.
think he's a lot younger now. He's small. Yeah, he's
a small good kid.
They fuck with him so bad. They're throwing birds at his windows. They're fucking terrorizing this kid. They punch him in the face, take his picture, hang up all over town. And you come to find out that this other kid that's hanging out with these bad dudes and taking photos used to be his best friend until the incident. I think we all know what that was. That's a dark turn in this movie.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that caught me way off guard. Evidently, at one point when they were children, he kind of abandoned him while he was...
Some bullies confronted the two friends, and one ran
Unzipped.
off and left the other kid behind, and it shows a picture of the bully unzipping his pants.
So we know what happened there.
Yeah.
And that's that you can't come over. I don't think you can come back from that in a friendship. Like, dude, you fucking left me there. And
Yeah, it's just a group of bullies picking on a kid. You find out that one of the bullies used to be friends with the kid until he was able to be a cool kid, and then he started bullying the kid.
well, he ignored him right after
And
that incident.
The movie is kind of them playing an old child, the two that used to be friends playing an old childhood game while walking through the woods, an imagination game, and it just kind of recounts their past.
Right. Did you guys have any nostalgia with this at all? Because we were like
For
teenagers.
sure.
when-
The soundtrack was on point.
like
And-
like teenagers.
And one thing, it seemed like in most movies, like when they try to put rock and heavy metal, it doesn't fit or feels forced.
right.
This felt good. It was natural. Like anytime a good song came on, it was just
It
was
wasn't
perfect.
It wasn't really nostalgic for me because I wasn't into
Oh, I was listening
Bullying.
to all that shit.
no
I was
any
li-
of the music.
I was, I was listening.
I was
to,
in the bullying.
I was listening to all that fucking shit though.
No, all the music in it. I mean, they really did do a great job with the soundtrack, but it wasn't like
Even
I
if-
didn't. Wasn't
just
what?
it's just the era.
even
yeah,
if you
it
did,
You've
wasn't-
heard those songs
yes,
almost every day, whether you
right.
like
Even
the
if you
bands or
didn't
not.
like that music, think about horror movies that were made during that time. They would have that shit on the soundtrack. They'd sell you the soundtrack at the fucking before the movie, in a bunch of ads. But it was that was a highlight for me. There's a lot of nostalgia. I think I connected a lot with the main character because he was like our age, not because of anything anything else that was going on.
Because of that time, Frank one time abandoned his friend when a group
Everybody,
of bullies.
let's be honest, everybody's abandoned friends.
It kind of is like that. Yeah, you kind of did abandon
Well, I didn't abandon them. They just
Then
this
then he
isn't
went
what
off.
happened.
Didn't he shoot
This isn't
someone
what
in the
happened.
Navy or something?
No, I'm not
Well,
going
let's
to
say
talk
he
bad
did.
about. He's got enough hard enough life as it is, just like everybody else, man. Jesus Christ. See, this is
You
the
feel
problem right
bad.
here.
You
This
feel
is the-
bad, don't
This
you?
is the fact of the
This
matter.
is you feeling bad.
I did let loose some of my friends that could not hang out with you guys.
So you can actually put yourself in
Yeah, people didn't like us.
It
the
was-
shoes.
think
you
about-
you kind of
think-
were opposite.
I was a kid playing Magic the Gathering in the lunchroom, and my friends were kids that would play with me. You guys would come over. This is exactly what happened in fucking study hall, man. You guys would come over. Palmer would take my fucking CD player and my book and look through it, and you'd fuck with their Magic cards. You'd hide them.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude,
No,
me?
You would just.
You were a bully in high school.
you just take a palm it, slide
Just-
it on the table.
just
I
to make
was
this
interested in the game. I wanted to know what was on the card.
Just to make this clear, I wasn't in on this. I'd have played Magic.
No, Jared was the cool kid playing guitar in the fucking gym. What the hell, man?
I think Jamie.
Cool guy or a douchebag?
I thought he was the
Yeah.
coolest guy, except for that guy
I-
that broke the backboard.
I
That
think-
was the coolest guy.
I think
but-
Jason might have more of his finger on the pulse of this one. I remember a little bit of high school.
Right.
I don't ever remember being the cool guy.
I remember thinking you were the coolest guy. I was like, that guy he brought his guitar in here. He's play some fucking Marilyn Manson, brother.
Yeah, I think Jamie put me up to that to raise some money for a drum set that you used to play.
Yeah,
We played at the prom. How cool was that?
that was
Not
really
very-
cool.
No,
See,
it wasn't
again-
very cool, was it?
I'm gonna say
we made people cry.
with your douchebag comment, I'm gonna say you got your finger fully on the pulse of what was happening.
But
So see, apparently there's plenty of nostalgia in this movie because it brings up memories.
yeah, we were talking about high school now. But basically, this movie seemed like an extended episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark or Erie, Indiana. It was not a horror movie at all. It
No.
was supernatural drama,
Yes.
maybe a love story. I don't know. There was a couple moments.
So many levels of different emotions in this movie. I'm now starting to force myself to not get caught up on, was it a horror movie or not? If it has horror elements in it, and it does completely. What Halloween, just the kind of, just the whole entire feel, the way it looks, the way it's shot, everything. I'm not going to say it's a straight up horror movie, but it just has so much else into it that
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it's not a horror movie. It's a horror movie with so many other elements in.
It's a drama set in horror movie trappings,
Yeah.
but there's actually
It's like a horror fairy tale drama.
Yeah.
Because like when they start playing the game, like it feels almost like dreamlike.
Yeah.
Like
definitely.
everything is just. I love this movie. I think was it 2016.
Yep.
I think this is probably one of the best movies to come out in 2016.
Don't get me wrong. I liked
Great
this
freaking
movie a
movie.
lot, but I'm just saying for our show, I was like, this isn't really for our show.
we don't always have
You don't know until you watch it.
we don't always have to eat bologna.
I watched this movie.
There's baloney in here, man. Who the fuck acts like these skater punks? Who's like, he's like, what did he say he wasn't gonna do? I'm not gonna vandalize thing. You will, dude. You'll fucking do whatever I fucking like.
Oh, the grave. He was going to take pictures of them messing up the grave.
When they're in the convenience store,
Right.
he has a confrontation with the main bully
Yeah.
guy. Whatever he wanted him to do, I'm not gonna do that anymore, dude.
They messed with the kid's mom's grave
Oh yeah,
and wanted him to take pictures of it.
Yeah, in that I think there's some dialogue in it that's a little, I don't know, it feels a little heavy for what I would think regular teens. Like they get a little everybody has parts they get a little too poetic. It's fitting for the vibe of the movie, but in like keeping characters feel real, it feels a little heavy. But I don't think.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
like,
this
it's-
fucking movie
I
made me
wouldn't
cry like a little baby.
I wouldn't
bitch.
call.
So yeah, let's
I
get
wouldn't
into
call
that.
that baloney.
Let's get into Frank crying.
I cried at this movie. It's a sad movie. Think about this. Is all
It is.
This is.
But I just want to know exactly what.
This is what
'cause-
made me cry.
Okay.
Whenever I was thinking about like, it made me think of being a kid, and it was like, how many kids do you remember in elementary school that you remember their faces but you can't think of their names, like shit like that. Like you're like, people just, friendships. Anybody. There's kids that you were hanging out with all the time that you don't know anymore or whatever. You see them now, it's fucking weird.
I did not have many friends. You guys were about it,
Well,
and you're still here.
But anyways, what part of the movie did that tear drop?
it might have started. I might have started feeling that way after that. Him leaving his friend in the little rape.
Oh, so
thing.
early.
Well,
So
that was a little tinges, but then when they're up in the tree at the end, whenever they're like, and then it really came whenever he fucking saw him dead in the lake or whatever.
Yeah. When he finally broke down and hugged
Oh yeah,
the boy at the end, that's when my emotions started to flare off. I was like, whoa, gotta bring myself out of it a little
and
bit.
just because we didn't get there, but we kind of said it. We told what the movie about. You find that one of the smaller of the two friends that's always getting bullied, they go on this big journey back to get home playing this game. When they get to the very end and get where they're going, the smaller kid is actually dead in the water, and the other one has
And he's been dead the whole time.
Yeah, he's been dead for pretty much the whole day. The only scene I think he's actually alive is where he gets punched in the face right in the beginning.
Well, they show him sitting there drinking Jack Daniels, and then he breaks the bottle, and then that's the last.
But so he's been walking with the ghost of this friend just long enough to realize
I've heard someone say it's almost like the Bill Murray, the Christmas story or
Scrooged.
whatever. Yeah, or I guess you can say that. How it kind of walks you through.
That's what it's called, Scrooged.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
But I was actually thinking of.
The real one.
Yeah.
Christmas Carol.
But it's the same thing.
Yeah,
I heard it. I read constantly they were comparing it to Lost Boys mixed with Stand By Me, and I was like, that's not true. There's no fucking vampires. I don't know. There's a group of bad kids. I don't know if that's what you're saying Lost Boys for, but regardless, here's a life tip for everybody. No matter who goes down the dark storm drain tunnel, don't ever go down the dark storm drain tunnel. That never works out.
no matter who does it.
No matter who you see
Don't
walk
do
in
it.
there, your wife walks in there. You say, hey, no, we don't know. I don't care if the dog's in there. Come out now. You never go in there. You never go in there, ever.
So the black guy dressed all in white,
Death.
That's what I was thinking.
So if he keeps seeing death and he's kind of running from him, wanting to stay away from him, did he die at 4 p.m. when they thought?
I think the idea is, and it's really the only supernatural element to the show, is he's a ghost. So like he's just kind of
wandering.
Yes. Yeah. And I kind of saw it coming. I won't lie. I wouldn't be surprised to hear a lot of people be like, I kind of called that. Like they have him in corpse paint.
I did not call it.
And it really set in that it was like, yes, definitely, when they kind of ended up at that, the party thing.
Yeah,
and
Day of the Dead.
Yeah, and there was the picture of him with the Day of the Dead.
Well, yeah,
film.
that's a giveaway.
It was like, this kid's probably dead.
And this is my second time watching it, and it's just as good. And there's little things, just like in any other time you see a movie twice, that you pick up on the second time. This movie's great. I love it.
But they do. The bullies are kind of following them, not exactly chasing them, but just showing up in random places. And like the other supernatural elements are their shadows will be wolves. There's a lot of analogy to running.
The storytelling
with
in this
wolves
is brilliant.
So.
Yeah, I thought it was highly effective in celebrating Halloween just in general. I think it's a good Halloween movie because it is happening.
It is, but it's not in the forefront.
I think it's also highly effective at making you cry like a little baby. I will probably watch this again because I liked it a lot. I gave it a 7 out of 10. I'll probably give it a higher score on a rewatch.
Right ahead.
I'm going with an 8 on this. It's shot well. The soundtrack is awesome. So many different emotions come into this movie. It's not your straight horror movie, but who cares? I can't recommend this enough. Watch this movie. Really hope this would get a Blu-ray release in the U.S. I think it has one in the U.K., which I can get, but I hope this movie should be a lot bigger than what it is. So I hope it gets a good U.S. release and people get to see it.
Yeah, I had a hard one rating this movie. I found myself watching the clock a lot.
It is kind of long.
I think it's an hour 52 or something like that.
Because they're walking a lot. It's the
I love it.
It's the Lord of the Rings effect.
I found myself starting to watch the clock about a half hour in.
I can see that with you.
Like it didn't, but it's
And Frank. I would
Yeah,
say.
I definitely. This was a segmented watch.
It's it's like the Relic for me. It's hard for me to really feel like I'm rating it fair because it's a very well put together movie. It looks good. I mean the look of it is really good. The only real criticism I would be like this works against the movie on technical wise is the dialogue just feels weighty for teens. That's about it. Everything else I thought was put together really well, but it's 98% heavy drama, and even at the end, at the end, like the bullies show up where the kid's dead, and the one friend that's still alive ends up crying on the shoulder of the worst of the bullies, and
he's still a terrible asshole.
And like he reaches out and kind of hugs him and gives him the it's okay, and they show scenes after they kind of have their little falling out of how mad that guy actually is. So they even kind of paint it like he's a horrible person, but more because he doesn't know how to feel feelings and express it. Like they other than some of the dialogue, they make the characters really real. But yeah, it's 98% heavy drama, so my entertainment level watching it was about a 5. Rating it as a movie, like saying,
here we go.
He gives me shit about my
let me
scale.
be clear. It's not 98% heavy drama. I just want to say Jared's exaggerating that quite a bit.
Well, it feels unfair. My enjoyment of it was a 5, but because it's a kind of movie I don't enjoy.
You want, baby, whatever you want, come on.
Watching it, it's clearly put together way better than a 5, so that it just feels unfair. If you listen to Jason's description of it and say, that sounds like a movie I would like, absolutely listen to Jason and go with the 8. If you're like, man, that just kind of sounds like heavy drama, listen to me. And don't watch it.
If you don't like serious movies at all, you're gonna be with Jared probably on a 5.
It might be I just watched it at a time where I wasn't watching. I didn't want to watch a movie to feel feelings.
I'll have to go back and look at the movies that came out in 2016, but I gotta say this is probably in the top 10.
So,
well, there you have it. 1986's Deadtime Stories. Directed by Jeffrey Dellman, written by Jeffrey Dellman, J. Edward Kiernan, and Charles F. Shelton. All of these men basically only worked on this movie, aside from Jeffrey Dellman, who has one of the weirdest list of credits you'll ever come across, including a trauma sex comedy called Stuck on You, a Tony Todd movie called Voodoo Dawn that came out in 1990. And an episode of Dexter's Lab. So it's like a wide swath of things. The summary for this movie is a babysitting uncle tells his charges 3 horror stories about a killer witch, Little Red Riding Hood, and a werewolf, and Goldilocks and the 3 Bears.
Yeah, so he's babysitting his nephew, who has trouble sleeping, convinces his uncle to tell him a story, and
Uncle tells him inappropriate stuff.
Well, another little funny thing is they say he's trying to watch the Miss Nude pageant,
Yeah, he just wants to drink his beer.
He just
and
wants
watch.
to see some tits.
Yeah.
They got this kid saying he can't sleep, telling me a story. So yeah, that's basically.
That's what I got from the whole thing. I was like, this is just a drunk uncle who wants to watch boobs, and he's irritated by this kid. So if you take that into all the stories, it really leads to a good narrative for what's happening.
Does it?
I think it does, because if you look at how shitty the first story especially is like short and cut up. Like, it's like really short. There's a lot of pieces missing. It seems like he's just like, go to fucking bed. There's tits on the
he
TV.
wants to get to. Well,
Like,
yeah.
yeah.
So this first story, what? Now this is the 3 stories based on fairy tales.
Yeah.
So what's the first? Is it Hansel and Gretel, or what is it?
I don't know. It
'Cause
just says
it's 2
Killer
witches.
Witch.
Yeah, it was some witch one. I
So
don't
the
know
first
exactly
first
what it
story is 2 witches are trying to do a spell to bring back their dead sister.
Yeah, I think that I read that this story was supposed to be an entire full-length movie. Was this segment, but I don't know how they could have fucking done it.
The first story was the worst of the 3. It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't.
Well, before that even starts, what did you
My
think
least
about the?
favorite.
What'd you think about the lengthy stop-motion animation page turning?
That was excessive. It's an excessive intro.
I enjoyed it,
but it's 3 short movies, so a lot of credits.
yeah.
The credits at the beginning, I don't know, what is it, 5 minutes long probably?
Yeah, but again, you had 3 separate things that a whole crew of people worked on.
You
different
could have
ones.
put that at the end.
Good.
Like
You could've.
right from the get-go, I'm ready to hit the fast forward button just to get through the credits.
But in that first segment where it's it's the 2 witches trying to reincarnate that 3rd witch. Mm-hmm. One of the best things that happens is the main character, the kid or whatever, Scott Valentine's the actor's name.
Yeah, what else has he been in? I'm looking right now.
He was
Dude with the earring. There it is. There's whatever
he was
it is.
in
I'm thinking.
what's that fucking Michael J. Fox TV show?
Family Ties.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
He's from Family Ties.
But
So what's the best part?
He throws a fucking knife right into that witch's head.
That's not what I thought you were going to say the best part
The
about
loose
it.
bowl of eyeballs that was
No.
just... he starts throwing them at him.
The witch's titties you get to see.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's true. I guess so.
thought
Oh,
for
yeah. Yeah, because they're like... the priest is there, and they're like... they've mind controlling him or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think the first one was bad. It was the movie as a whole. I think I'd have enjoyed more if I'd have watched it when I was younger in the 80s. I don't think anything was terrible. The first one was just kind of all right.
There was one terrible point where the girl who this Scott Valentine guys helped capture hits that witch on the head with the fucking shovel. Did anyone else rewind it back to watch it again, because it was so like she falls down and then there comes the fucking shovel like right after.
I think I remember what you're talking about. This it had some cool effects.
Yeah.
The witch forming
Yeah.
and coming to life was pretty.
But then what happened after when it was
And then he
fully
ripped-
formed?
Huh?
When it was fully formed, then what happened? Because
Well, then he rips out her heart.
and then it becomes a face hugger from Alien.
Yeah. I didn't expect it to jump on his face.
And then it's over with. That's it.
I did like one thing that did make me laugh is the end of the first one. They're sacrificing the girl. The witches have Scott Valentine.
Yeah.
They have him kill people and do stuff so they can cast a spell to bring their sister back to life. And the last thing they got to do is he tricks this girl in so they can kidnap her, and they're going to use her as a sacrifice to bring the sister back. And the story ends with him turning on the witches, saving the girl. They fight the last sister, and then it ends in a big happily ever after kiss.
Boy gets the girl.
Yes, boy gets the girl, and then it cuts back to, the uncle and the boy.
Yeah.
And the boy is like, the one part of this that really made me laugh was the boy is like, that's stupid mushy ending. I don't like that. And he's like, oh, well then the sister witch gets back up, and it cuts back to the movie for 1 second, and it's just her strangling the two.
Yeah, but it looks really bad.
Yeah, really bad. And then it cuts back to the uncle, and he's going like, "Rah!" And he's like, okay, and then they all die. That part made me laugh. So, but yeah, of the three shorts, This one wasn't bad. The whole movie in
it is. I mean, and it is also. It's a horror comedy. It's
the whole
it's
movie
goofy.
is as generic 80s horror as I think you can
and
get.
the 80 music, you get all the 80s.
Yes, it is.
In it.
That's what I said. I think I would like this movie a lot more today if I would have watched it in the late 80s when I was younger, because it is everything about it is the classic 80s horror movie feel. This first one is just, it didn't have anything other than that. I realized as I was watching it, I liked the first one only because of the vintage 80s feel. That's all I had.
But the next segment is the Red Riding Hood segment. And I think one of the weirdest things about it is that, okay, you got to take it from the perspective of this drunken, irritated uncle who's telling these stories. Why is he telling that fantasy sequence at the beginning? Like, is he telling this to a kid like the girl is in her room and she's rubbing her stomach?
Yeah, I mean, what a great way to start a story. To have this teenage girl
He even says,
daydreaming.
okay, this is the story of Little Red Riding Hood. She's a cheerleader with a tight body and tall breasts.
She's daydreaming.
Those are his
daydreaming in
words.
front of a full-length mirror. But well, here's something like, you're gonna show me old witch's titties and not show me the young, firm teenage breasts. Like, you show me that, but you won't show me this. But anyway, so the Red Riding Hood is what this story is, and it's kind of funny the way they have the grandma and the wolf mixing up their medications. And then that's how they meet. The werewolf goes to grandma's house to try to get his medication, and he has hers as well, and that's where this kind of all happens.
And this whole time that the wolf is at the grandmother's house, basically she would have called the police. He's there for fucking ever outside.
Knocks on
In
the
the
door
mic,
like
Frank.
several times.
And anyways, you fucking threw me off. I had a thought, and then you addressed me not talking into the mic. I know.
We're not going to hear any of it.
You can hear it a little bit. I mean, it's not enough to address it, but I'm addressing that. Jesus Christ, Jared. Anyways, it's funny to me how desperate the boyfriend is to fuck this girl, that he's willing to, like, not only take her to an abandoned shed, but to blow up an air mattress.
Oh
with
yeah,
his
Red
mouth.
Riding Hood's boyfriend.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he's a teenage boy. Think about some stuff you've
yeah.
done, Frank.
Oh yeah. But
Think about a hot trailer over in, what was it, a forest? or
exactly. But also,
You want
I
to
would not blow
expand
an air
upon that?
mattress. I wouldn't. Well, no, there's no need to do that.
Yeah, there's no need.
Everybody does stupid shit when they're a teenager,
Hmm.
but I would not blow up an air mattress with my mouth for anyone.
Yeah, no.
Also,
what does that
it's
take?
not-
An hour?
Yeah, that wasn't an air mattress though. That was like a pool raft. It
Yeah.
looked like
A floaty, yeah.
But he had candles and shit, so that was kind of nice. Shit, but I thought it was strange that when they got their medicine mixed up, she was just getting like Malox or something like that. You can buy that on the shelf.
I don't even know what that is.
It's just fucking for stomach problems.
Oh. And his was medicine to knock him out,
like some
so
opiate.
Yeah,
he didn't kill people
Yeah.
when he
Yeah,
changed.
this one's storyline. I even put the little note up. I don't know if you guys seen it. I swear this little story got made by someone being like, let's do Little Red Riding Hood as a adult horror story, and the producer was like, how you gonna spice it up? And the guy was like, let's make the wolf a werewolf. And he was like, not quite enough. And he was like, let's put him in leather pants. And the guy's like,
we got a movie.
we got ourselves a movie.
But the thing that's funny about like the dude standing outside of this grandma's house and like basically almost assaulting her or whatever, all he had to do from Jump Street is say, ma'am, I'm a diabetic. I need that medicine.
Yeah, just
She's
show her
got-
the pills.
She's got, yeah,
These are your pills,
Yeah.
or your drink, whatever. And you take a look at that. You have mine.
thank
Yeah,
God.
a lot of plot holes.
Thank God for that, you know, like every grandma has a silver cake server. Thank God for that, because how would they have wrapped this one up? This is a great story, though. Those leather pants set it off, man.
It is what it is.
Yeah, I liked it, but there's nothing really great to say about it. It's a decent looking old school werewolf in leather pants.
The leather pants are fucking dynamite.
I mean, it's on your typical 80s teenagers trying to have sex. A couple people get killed by a werewolf, and grandma turns into a werewolf at the end because she survives.
Yep.
Did you see the when you saw the dude in the leather pants, were you like, leather pants werewolf?
Yes. Yeah, I seen the dude go into the drugstore and said, "There's a werewolf."
Yeah, you can tell by the way.
There's the werewolf. You can tell by the leather pants.
At this point in the movie, I'm like, this Uncle Mike character is probably one of the worst uncles ever. Because he's real irritated at this point.
Or best. I mean,
best.
can you imagine?
I
mean, he's already told him 2 stories.
Well, yeah, but
he's got Miss Nude pageant and beer out in the living room. I mean, it's not even like it's his kid; it's his nephew. So I mean, I love my nephews, but 2 stories, that's it. Go to bed.
But he really nails it out of the park with this third story. This is my favorite one. This was the best.
Yeah, this is the one that I think makes the movie worth watching.
Goldilocks and the Three Bears.
Goldilocks and the Three Bears.
The whole from the beginning where it's like this very trauma. This whole segment was like a trauma movie.
Yeah, purposely bad acted. Yeah. Lots of references to horror movies.
Yeah, the sign for the mentally whatever it was, the hopelessly insane home.
Yeah, let's be clear. The three bears are 3 lunatics.
Yeah,
2 was in a mental facility.
Yeah, they broke him out.
Yeah. The dad and the son.
Yep.
Mom comes and
breaks him out.
Takes them back to their house in Amityville, which is another.
And Goldilocks is a psycho killer squatting at the house.
She has psychic powers.
Yes. Telekinetic.
It was telekinetic, kind of in a. They mixed Carrie and I forgot the other one. That.
I don't know, but you get to see her boobies, don't you, Frank?
Don't you,
Frank? You get to see her boobies.
Oh yeah, you do. That was great. That was good. Good job. Good work. Good work. Not that that's something you should hang a hat on, but you can fucking hang a hat on those titties.
But yeah.
This segment. But before we get too deep into it, I knew from the beginning of it I was gonna love it because it looks like a trauma movie. The sign for that hospital was in marker. They fucking kill Rondell Sheridan. Did you recognize him? That guard. He's a comedian from like the 80s. And he was like the dad in That's So Raven.
Yeah,
they just fucking kill his ass, and that was a good piece of fucking business there as far as I was concerned.
If you like trauma movies,
you had to read that, right? Like you didn't recognize him from.
No, I
recognized from the Raven show.
I didn't know what show he was on, but I knew it was something.
I recognized him from stand up, but then whenever I looked at his IMDb, and I'm like, oh fuck, he was the dad on that because I've seen it in passing, you know.
Oh, okay. All right.
But yeah, if you like trauma movies, this is everything great about a trauma movie, and none of it is badly done. It's all everything good.
Mother's Day, a lot like Mother's Day.
Yeah, only wasn't
Okay, you're just saying if you like trauma movies. This ain't a trauma movie.
Yeah, no, it's not. But if you like trauma movies, everything great about it, it is done perfectly in this little segment.
The last segment of it is like it's like the golden nugget of the whole thing. It's like if you took Benny Hill and John Waters, mixed it up in a trauma movie. It's good. I love this. What did you think about the segment, Jason?
This segment?
Yeah,
it was the best one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really funny. It's purposely overacted and badly acted, but not too far. Done just the right amount. There's just an insane amount of horror references in it.
Yeah.
Just incredible. I mean, it's pretty much an Easter egg basket. So yeah, it was my favorite.
And this was released on Blu-ray from Scream Factory just this last year.
Come on, pick it up, guys. I did think it was a weird decision that they made that kid get eaten by a claymation monster at the end. I was like, that was unnecessary.
Yeah, we're off of Goldilocks and the Three Bears. After that one ends, you cut back to Uncle Mike and the kid, and he's like, okay, we're done. He goes downstairs, and one of the toys comes to life. It's how they conclude the overarching story. Yeah. The overarching story in this is really just, it's there just to tie the 3 together. There's nothing great about it at all. There's some funny parts in Uncle Mike, but
yeah,
it's...
But what'd you give it, Jared?
I gave this one a 6, a really solid 6. I think if you really like 80s horror and just the
Anthologies.
feel of it,
Yeah.
If you like anthology movies, this is definitely worth watching. I gave it a 6 too.
yeah. If I would say if you don't necessarily care or big on 80s, there might not be a whole lot here. But if you love the 80s horror movies, you won't be upset with this one. Might not be your favorite, but
What'd you
you'll
give
enjoy
it?
I gave it an 8. I think it's amazing if you consider that all of these stories are being told by an irritated drunk uncle who just wants to look at tits and drink beer. I think it's that if you have that, that tone wasn't there, I would enjoy the last segment on its own. But good movie, guys.
Deathgasm. All spelt in capitals. Lowercase is for pussies.
How'd you guys like this one?
I liked it.
Yeah.
Straight away, the very first thing that I noticed was the visuals of it. It looks great.
Yeah. Jared had told me that before he finished it, he told me that it was what did you say, like a teen romance comedy or something?
Yeah, I watched it in chunks. I
Yeah.
watched up to where the teacher starts throwing up blood, and then finished the rest of it like a day or two later. So that first chunk I thought was very like teen comedy. It was heavy on that, I thought, and light on blood, but it more because
That's
when you
probably
don't
because they were doing the
when you don't get the ending right away. All I had was like 2 days to sit on that bit of it.
they
And
were
so,
doing those intercut drawing things like they did on Superbad and shit like that. A lot of dick drawings and a lot of dicks in general.
well, and the second half of the movie is
But also, there's Power Rangers in this, dude. There's 3 people from Power Rangers in this.
the second half of the movie is where all the great stuff is. I don't think the first stuff is. I don't think it did any detriment. It's just if you only watch that, I walked away being like, I don't know about this one. This might not be what I thought it was gonna be. And a lot of times, metal movies that focus heavily on metal, it feels a little forced.
Yes,
Yeah,
I think
Someone.
I just watched another one. I think it was Devil's Candy. It was very, it was metal, and I agree. They all feel forced.
Yes, someone. I don't know if it was the people making, but someone was into this. Like when he pulls the autopsy record out.
Yeah.
Like someone was around being like, no.
But why so
Here's
much
the-
Trivium? Trivium was on every fucking thing. It was everywhere.
But yeah, I mean, the main characters are like, I mean, you look at it, they make them into like black metal, the blackest of black metal kind of
Well,
dudes.
they did a parody of that. What's that band? That black metal band. Can't even think of it.
But-
they did a parody of a black metal video.
But but then, like you said, when you start tossing in like Trivium and you're moving into a generic,
Yeah.
like that, it's just never done great. But it didn't. I mean, for what the movie is, it doesn't fucking matter.
No, because everything's over the top.
Yeah.
None of this, all these little things, none of it matters for
the
what
main
the movie
dude.
is.
What's his name? Brody is his name, and the lead girl are both from Power Rangers. One of the series, and the chick from the record store that does the psychic readings, she's from Power Rangers also.
It's Power Ranger movie.
But they say you can sync this movie up to Iron Maiden's Live After Death, and it like perfectly aligns like a Pink Floyd
I may try that.
thing. Yeah. Basically, these guys. What happens is this kid. His mom gets put in jail for trying to suck off Santa Claus. Is that what happened?
Yeah, she was high on meth.
And he has to move in with his really religious uncle and dickhead cousin. And of course, they lump him in with a slobby dude and a fucking nerd that plays D&D.
None of that matters. A metal band finds a hymn that raises a devil. They
Yeah.
play it not knowing what it was. The town turns into demons, and a lot of people
A
get
lot of
killed
awesome shit happens.
in crazy, ridiculous ways.
I love it when he kills his cousin. Just to fucking kill him.
No, because like when he came in, he was all like, his eyes. You seen that, right?
Oh my god! Yeah, the gore was great. I loved every bit of it.
The visuals are great. The director Jason Lee, I think it's Jason Lee Howden. Again, this is his first full length movie. But previously, he's known for his visual effects. He worked on the Hobbit movies, the Wolverine, Prometheus. Like visuals is his thing, and From the get go, like as soon as the movie starts, I love the visuals. I love the cut scenes to where they have like they're standing on the mountain, like
that's awesome.
Like a metal cover, like it. Yeah, visually, this movie is great.
It pretty much hits on everything it needs
practical
to be.
Practical effects, great
to be good at what it's supposed to be. Like, it's funny as shit.
Yeah,
the little stuff I was telling Frank about the first half. Is just because I hadn't got to the part that you watched the movie for, and all I had was the parts that you don't care about, and so that second half of the movie. I mean, honestly, I'm not going to take away from Dude's film because I think it's really good, but you can just watch the second half of the movie.
That's true.
I mean, it's one of those.
He was just warming up his first.
And you'll miss
half of the movie.
You'll miss some good stuff. A few good scenes in the first part, but it's not quite as. That's my only issue with it is normally those kind of movies are full go from the beginning. They waited till halfway through. Doesn't hurt the movie, but in this kind of movie, I don't want to wait. Just, I mean, it's called Deathgasm.
Yeah,
let's just get to it.
Going off the trailer, I didn't expect to like this movie as much as I did. Like, I didn't think I was going to be into it that much at all, but
yeah, I figured I would. There hasn't been much of those New Zealand over the top.
Yeah, I love that New Zealand accent. I don't know why, but I just fucking do.
The old Peter Jackson stuff with Dead Alive and Bad Taste. One that I almost picked for this time for my old one, but I decided something else instead. Black Sheep is another one.
I just got that.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah.
Maybe I will pick it instead of Body Melt. It's 2006, but that's over a decade old.
Yeah, I just.
We shouldn't have restrictions.
I just ordered from the UK real cheap. It's only like
I got it
like
on DVD
$5.
too, Frank. I might pick that one instead. But anyways, like Black Sheep and Undead, I believe that one was another New Zealand one. Like they're and of those, Deathgasm's probably my least favorite.
Undead's the one with the aliens in it, right?
Yeah,
that's really good.
but I still rate it pretty high. I mean, it being my least favorite is. That doesn't mean it's very low. Like I love those New Zealand over the top, just crazy, insane, nonstop death and ridiculousness. Yeah. I like that in a movie.
It was a really, really good movie.
Would you rate it, Jason?
Let's see. I gave it a 7. I gave the plot a 5. I didn't. The writing to the movie. I mean, there's.
I gave the plot not relevant.
I mean, it's just the middle of the road. Like, it wasn't bad. It wasn't good. It is what it is. I liked the acting in it. I thought the characters were great. I gave it a 7. There really wasn't a whole lot of atmosphere there, so I think 7's a good score.
I think in the end, the reason this one is it isn't as high as Undead or Black Sheep or Brain Damage is because the overall story isn't as ridiculous as, like, Dead Alive. A rat monkey bites a dude's mom and he keeps the zombies in his basement and they spread. That's ridiculous. The Black Sheep, a dude's humping a sheep.
That's a good story.
Genetic.
That's an 8 in my book. So,
but a dude's
rat monkey
humping a sheep to make a genetically superior sheep, and they turn into were-sheep.
Yeah, were-sheep.
Like that is an undead aliens taking over and raising.
Oh, and that dude has that awesome shotgun.
I mean, that's the storyline from Plan 9 from Outer Space. I mean, and this one is a couple kids form a metal band, and it's not as over the top.
But he does use the power of a tasty fucking guitar solo to bring his buddy out of the devil.
It's like I said, it's just not as over the top, and in those movies, I like them. just way over the top.
This wasn't over the top enough for you?
Storyline.
Because I thought this was... I mean, I said that earlier.
I give-
Everything's over the top. I got it right here. Wrote it down.
He has a spin move with 2 chainsaws, and he has
Yeah.
corpse chainsaws.
It's over the top.
We were talking storyline. The storyline wasn't as over the top as what I like in those.
Right.
Kind
And his wife also helped
I
him
give
write
the
this.
movie a 7, but I give the second half of the movie a 9. The
I,
second half of the movie is everything that it should be.
Your
I
guys'
went with an
scales
8.
kill me.
I went with an 8.
Wow.
This is right in my wheelhouse, but I thought that the devil at the end, that could have been done a little bit fucking cool, because everything else was so awesome, and that was like...
I feel this was a little Tenacious D. Too.
Yeah, I felt that, the cutaways especially, that looked like some shit out of their albums.
The devil at the end looked like a really bad version of Dave Grohl in Tenacious D.
Yeah, and they said that this was based on Evil Dead, sort of. So why would they could have done the beginning different without? Don't involve the school at all. Get the school out of there, and it would be a lot better, because that made it seem like you were watching Look, She's Hot Now, or whatever that fucking movie is.
They took time. They took time to introduce characters to you.
Yeah.
And put them in situations to make you think about who the characters are. It works against this movie a little bit, because I generally, like, even in The Void, I was like, I don't care who they are. But in this movie especially, I don't care who they are. I don't care who they are. I don't care who they're killing. Just do it.
Yeah, because the beginning, like, what, half hour, it's like, Sandy, or whatever the fucking names are.
The part where, what really got me, and it was one of the parts that came close to my end of the first chunk that I watched. Like, when you get into pass this guy the note, I didn't pass the note, I showed up instead, I'm going to start making out with my best friends. Like, all of that, you could have had more people getting killed instead of that.
Yeah.
It tries to make you care.
Yeah, it tried to actually make a more normal, stronger story.
Yeah, that kid gets bullied, gets pushed down,
It just...
They added real life stuff into a not real life movie.
Yeah.
Unnecessary. Ghost stories from 2017 or 18, according to whatever internet thing you're looking at. Summary for this movie: skeptical Professor Philip Goodman embarks on a trip to the terrifying... What? Hang on. Retake it. Summary: skeptical God damn it. we might have to restart from the beginning. Oh, god damn. Skeptical Professor Philip Goodman embarks on a trip to the terrifying after finding a file with details of 3 unexplained cases. Written and directed by Jeremy Dyson, who worked on Tracy Ullman's show, League of Gentlemen, and Psycho Bitches. Andy Nyman, who's known as more of an actor, also wrote this. Any details you got over there?
Tagline: be careful what you believe in. Distributed by Lionsgate and on Scream Factory Blu-ray 2018.
Cast highlight for this movie, of course, is our good old friend Martin Freeman's back. He plays a character called Mike Priddle, but I think the movie would have been much better if he was cast as Professor Goodman, because he's a good man. And he does a good job. I thought this movie was beautifully shot. In fact, I had to look up who the guy was that was a cinematographer, and he was award-winning. So he's been nominated for several awards and won a few.
Deserving.
Really makes this movie look good. The story itself it's kind of an anthology, I guess. The first little story is about a watchman. I don't know what this dude's guarding. I think it's an asylum, but it appears as though this building would probably be all right if it was left by itself, right? I kept waiting for this movie to be really bad, but because everybody kept saying it wasn't good, and I liked it all the way through. I had like 20 minutes left, and I'm like, is this thing gonna shit on me at the end? And it didn't. I thought Martin Freeman, of course, does a good job. In fact, he does a great job at making a sequence stand out. He's kind of like the Willy Wonka of ghosts. I think this is a cool movie. I liked all the stories on their own, but I liked how they wrapped it all up in one nice little package at the end. I think it's underrated, and I gave it a 7.
The first time I watched this movie, I wasn't impressed, and I thought maybe part of the issue was I bought this was a blind buy. Everyone was talking about how good it was. It's comes with a certified tomato fresh sticker on the cover. So I think maybe I went in expecting a little bit too much of it. And also, I don't think I gave it, the movie as a whole, a fair chance, because I think the first story is awful. Like, it's so cliche and everything predictable. Like, I thought that was going to be the tone through the whole movie. That's really not the case. After that first story, it's a really good movie to me. A British horror anthology, and it again has I'm not saying it's like a Hammer movie, but it has the atmosphere like an old British horror movie does.
It's classy.
Yeah, it is. It's sexy even.
Woo!
Like it's dressed up.
It's smart.
It looks good. Good writing, put together well. The wraparound story is great and holds up on its own story. Right there with the other 3 cases. Felt it almost feels like a feature length, like one entire movie, opposed to horror anthologies usually feel choppy.
Yeah.
They don't all have the same tone and stuff like this. This almost feels like it's just a feature length.
Like they took like a bunch of stories and just swirled them around in a pot together.
Yeah,
Like
it
it's just a meld.
feels good. But I think that's the benefit of having 2 writers, opposed to you can have 8 or more writers in an anthology. And it's by the same 2 guys. This is adapted from a play, and it's the same 2 guys that did the play. They did the movie. So, if you're going to adapt to a play, I mean, is there better people to have really
Right.
than
It's what it's supposed to be.
Unless they just can't do it. Now again, the first case, it's jump scares. It's loud jump scares. Like my speakers were rumbling. Very predictable, cliche. It could have been good, I think. It was a creepy place. It was
Right.
like you said. It's not. Didn't necessarily need to have guards. The second case where the teenager gets into the accident, hits that
Right.
goat devil demon thing, whatever. And it has good humor in that one. And the set, the location, the being in the woods, it was good. Third case with Martin Freeman, the expecting father or whatever. They're getting ready to have a kid. That was a good story. Good cast, great atmosphere, shot really well. Not the most original overall, but it's done really well. I give it an 8.
And you?
I picked it because
Oh yeah, this is your pick. Yeah.
it is my pick. I had only access to Hulu, which led this to be the best movie that I saw on Hulu at the time.
Yeah. It's a good movie. What out of 10? What would you give it?
I think I'm going to give it a 7, even less than you.
Well,
even though it was
what's
my
your thoughts
pick.
on it? Give us some thoughts.
My thought is that I picked it because I saw a lot of reviews online, and like in the trailer for it, it was a 10 out of 10. And
It was hyped.
That's what the yes, it was hyped.
It was overhyped, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe
I
it
saw-
wasn't, but it caused me to go in. expecting
It
a lot more.
was.
And then when
No,
that first case comes around, it's like, well, really?
I
Like, you guys
liked
are
it.
hyping like
I like that.
it's
but-
a girl pops up out of nowhere, and then she disappears, and then she's behind a blanket. Like it was.
but the reviews that I read were either 10s or 2s, and I thought I'd pick it to get a fair review. Almost want to give it a 7 because I mean, like. I get the people's comments that they left were like, I didn't see enough. They were kind of bare. Not enough happened in the story.
Yeah, that's true.
But I was watching it as the title of the movie, and like growing up, hearing ghost stories is what it felt like when I was watching. Because when you hear someone that you know, or like a friend or whatever, tell a ghost story, there isn't always a lot of resolution to it, or a lot of, detail or ending. They kind of give you the setup of what was happening at the time of day, what they saw, and that's the end. You don't always get a conclusion to it. Watching it felt like I was hearing ghost stories that I had heard growing up. So I think that's what it was trying to be, was a collection of ghost stories. I think they did a good job tying it all together. Maybe a bit confusing.
A little bit
confusing at the end. Like, I get the point, but not quite exactly how they all tied in. Like, I get how they tried to tie it in, but maybe a little bit confusing. But it felt like I was listening to ghost stories, and I liked it for that, so I'll give it a 7.
What'd you give it?
Fuck, I can't remember. I think it's approved, though.
Fuck, I can't remember.
I have to go back.
I don't have my notes.
He's got his notes this time
I got my
around.
notes.
I don't know, a 3
Let me
maybe?
see how fast it is.
Paper's a lot quicker.
7 out of 10.
7 out of 7?
So that makes it approved, right?
What is that, 7 to 7 and 8?
No.
A 7 and 8 and a 9.
Wait, what?
I don't know.
Who gave it a 9?
I'm just saying things.
It's not approved.
Don't watch this movie.
I gave it an 8, but don't watch it.
Murder Party from 2007.
It surprised me.
Yeah, it was different. A lonely man attends a random Halloween party, only to learn that the sketchy art students hosting the bash intend to kill him for grant money. Written and directed by Jeremy Saulnier. Has another movie called Green Room that seems interesting. I saw. Did you have anything on this, Jason?
I got a tagline: "Everybody dies." It's distributed by Magnolia Pictures. I don't think this is on Blu-ray, but it does have a DVD released by Magnolia Home Entertainment, 2007.
I don't know what time period this movie was supposed to take place in. Everybody has
2007.
Is that right?
I don't know.
Everybody has flip phones. The baseball player character has a PSP, and the victim rents VHS tapes.
I'm a 2003, 2005.
One of the VHS tapes I tried to look up to see if it was a real movie. It was called Scarewolf, and that seemed interesting to me. They claim that this movie is like Napoleon Dynamite meets Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but I didn't think it was like that at all. I thought it was more like Mr. Bean meets Tom.
That's funny because Napoleon Dynamite was one of the first things.
Yeah,
he's the main character. It's the movie's not. The main character is a Napoleon
he's a nerd.
Dynamite-ish character. The first scene of him walking in his apartment, it looked like someone
very Travis Casper.
Well, that's a deep cut.
But
HN represent.
When he walks into his apartment in the beginning, you could believe like this is a Napoleon Dynamite 10 years later type story.
See, he didn't have,
but more just because of the character.
He didn't have like the quips. Like Napoleon Dynamite has like shit, and he's like more like pissed off. He seemed more like a Mr. Bean character, and I thought it was like a Reservoir Dogs type
That would
scenario.
be a great movie.
Mr. Bean's Murder Party.
Yeah. I think there was a lot of potential for this movie to be funny, but it needed like a good punch up. Like they need to get a comedy writer in there. It should have probably been like Brian Posehn or somebody who likes horror movies a lot. It just seemed like there was a lot of opportunity with this character to do more funny things than they did.
I don't think it needed more humor than what was in it.
You like
pretty funny. Huh? I thought it was pretty funny.
I thought it was pretty.
The guy carrying around the chainsaw with the extension cord.
Yeah. But it's not over
that stuff was funny.
It's not over the top slapstick, so the humor ends up not covering up the fact that these art students kidnap this guy and have him tied to a chair and are going to kill him for an art exhibit. I mean, it's still a horror movie.
I No doubt about it. I thought there was laughs in it. I just wanted more out of this character, that the kidnapped guy, because the stuff I laughed at was like when the girl accidentally dies because she eats the raisins and then collapses onto
the dog face guy. I thought was the best thing about this movie. He was great.
I thought Alexander or Tim, like that dude, he had me rolling the whole movie. Like the whole movie. He's such, like, he did such a good job at being a douche.
You hate him.
And like at the end when he's on the truth serum.
We're not talking about this. The guy that's giving out the grant. Is that the guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
And at the end, there's like he's on the truth serum, and he's like, "I'm a fry cook. I don't have any money." Like he reminded me of one of the dudes from oh shit, what's that sketch show? Whitest Kids You Know?
Yeah, I can see that.
He reminded me of one of those dudes. I thought he was hilarious. So, but I liked the comedy in it because it's not, none of it's over the top.
Oh,
it all fairly subtle but landed well.
I liked the comedy. I just the character they hung their hat on was that guy in the chair. I was laughing at everybody else. They put that dude right in the middle of the cover. I'm like, I mean, I guess it was, the stuff that was funny was him running from the guy with the guy. The funniest thing was the guy with the werewolf mask gets it melted to his face, and then he's running around on these rooftops trying to find a place to plug this electric chainsaw in. Anytime you use an electric chainsaw in a horror movie, it's always gold. It was in what was
it was I knew it was in something else.
It was in Slumber Party Massacre, wasn't it? The girl had a saw that needed to be plugged in, and she ran at the guy and it unplugged, and she got tripped up. Yeah,
that might be right.
I think so.
Yeah.
Anyways, I liked the artist group in this movie. They reminded me of the crew from The Babysitter, like just a lot of really funny characters. They made the movie was just fucking fun, and the bloodbath ending was great. I thought it would have been a little bit better ending if he would have went through the whole night and survived, and then got blamed for all those murders. But I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah. So this it starts off more so in the beginning with the Halloween trick or treat vibe, but it's kind of there throughout. They end up at a Halloween party. The art group is dressed up in costumes. It's fun. It's entertaining. It's weird. It's kind of funny that they try these guys are trying to kill someone, and they pretty much just end up killing themselves.
Yeah.
There's some good gore in it. Not much of a storyline, but if you watch the trailer, you know the storyline's not needed in it. It's good pace. I was never bored whatsoever.
Yeah, that's when they got him tied up so quick. One thing I was expecting, it's like, okay, this is going to get slow. But they did a good job with the characters.
Yeah, even maybe even the parts that feel like they're kind of trying to just buy a little bit more time. It's entertaining. It's funny. The characters are good. The acting's good. The dialogue's hilarious. I gave it a 7.
Yeah, I'm right there with Jason. I gave it a 7. Everything's really strong on it. Like when I went to watch this, I was like, Jesus, we're already doing Camp Death 3 in 2D. I don't need to do another one of these. But they did a really good job. The humor is there. I think everything lands really well, but none of it is over the top too much.
The humor? No.
Yeah. Like the most
it's subtle. Like
the most slapstickiest feeling thing is the guy with electric chainsaw and the extension cord. Like that's about as yeah. And it is. It's good.
Still see him running across the rooftop with the extension cord dragging behind him.
Well, and then he just falls off the fucking. Doesn't
yeah, and at the end,
that's how
he finally gets it plugged in. He falls off the top, and the other guys are down a couple stories in one of the rooms, and the guy has got away, and the last guy is about to kill him, and the dog-faced guy falls off, so his chainsaw's swinging there by the window. So the guy they kidnapped is able just to grab the chainsaw, bring it in the window, and stick it in the dude's face.
Yeah, this is way better than I thought it was going to be. I thought this was going to be another stupid movie, and they did a really good job with it.
Yeah, they made all the characters feel kind of real in their silliness, I guess.
And there's not there's not enough of the Halloween vibe for me to say that I'm probably going to watch this every year, but it's definitely a movie I think I can buy, and I'll watch it again a few times.
Yeah, but everything lands in it. I wouldn't say. I think it could be punched up a little bit more. But I don't think
what Frank said?
Yeah, I don't think with humor. I don't think humor was what it needed.
More titties.
They even do have a scene where the dude runs in and there's a bunch of naked girls in the room, and like it cuts to his viewpoint and he keeps going back to the tits. But yeah, it's really solid. I was really surprised by it. I was expecting to not care for this one too much, or maybe not that. Just I had already watched a silly one. I wasn't expecting to be in that mood. It was really good. I give it a 7.
Yeah. Well,
was that a choice or a vote?
That was
that one of our? That wasn't my pick.
I don't know if that was.
That was your guys' pick.
I selected for the poll, but I'm not sure. I don't think.
No, because you got Fly and
yeah, that's right.
So that was one of your guys' choice. Good choice, guys.
Good roundup.
Great roundup.
Yeah. Up next, this one's going to take a little bit to parse this. Talk about The Barn now. Directed and written by Justin Seaman from 2016. Here's the summary. It's Halloween, 1989. Best friends Sam and Josh are trying to enjoy what's left of their final Devil's Night before graduating high school, but trouble arises when the two pals and a group of friends take a detour on their way to a rock concert, finding an old abandoned barn and awakening the evil inside. Now it's up to Sam and Josh to find a way to protect their friends and defeat the creatures that lurk within the barn. That is an official fucking...
That's good.
That's from them.
Yeah.
That's a mouthful.
Got a tagline on Halloween nights: "The Legend of the Barn Awakens," distributed by Nevermore Production Films, and they also put this out on Blu-ray, which I picked up, and I just want to give a shout out to them because this is a low-budget horror movie, and the detail that they put into the release. I mean, you have reverse art. The special features that they have is just. It was actually hard. To think of questions to ask because they did such a well job of the making of that. Like they covered.
They answered.
They covered everything.
Yeah, I loved fucking everything about this movie. How it's framed, the soundtrack is so good that I will. And I saw it's released. And it looks really cool, like vinyl, like a really cool release of the soundtrack.
The merchandise.
Oh yeah,
that this movie has. Like I've never seen so much merchandise put out, right with the film. I mean they cover everything. Go ahead though.
Yeah, I just said I'll probably own everything about this. I wish I could play the game. I don't have a smartphone.
Yeah, I haven't played it yet.
It looks like a good side scroller, but yeah, it's definitely gonna be part of my Halloween movie rotation now. Like every Halloween, this is just a great Halloween.
I think anyone that's ever watched this movie has said that same exact thing.
Yeah, the characters are great. The Boogeyman, Hollow Jack, and Candy Corn Scarecrow. They're some of the best original characters I've seen in a long time. Because normally you're just gonna get something that is kind of like something you've already seen before, and these guys really aren't. As far as I mean, maybe you guys have seen something like these dudes before, but. They definitely seem like bosses in a video game. Like they set it up like there's different stages or areas that they're in control of. The pumpkin patch, what's the cornfield, and then the barn essentially. But you can tell that Justin isn't just trying to make money off of the horror community.
No, he loves horror.
He nods a lot of different movies. I'm not sure if the Lawnmower was a Dead Alive thing or not. It kind of thought it was gonna turn into that, but yeah, everything from the fucking Nevermore graphics at the beginning, the credit for the production company, the digital lightning.
Every time someone hits them, it's in there.
It's everything is 80s as fuck in this. The cameos from Linnea Quigley and Ari Lehman are cool, but the movie stands on its own legs. So it's something cool to throw in there. She looks rough as shit. I gotta be honest.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I didn't recognize her right away, but
yeah.
The movie I'm used to seeing her in, it's a little bit different.
Well, we had watched something else recently that she. Oh no, I watched Pumpkinhead 2. She's in that too, and she looks wonderful. But overall, I can't fault this movie for anything because it's just a fun Halloween treat for horror fans. If they make a sequel to this, it'll be fucking great.
I think he is.
I definitely look forward to more shit from the Nevermore company. So I give it a solid 8 out of 10. It could have. I think that if they would have made the kids a little younger, it might have benefited more, or maybe like give a shit about them more. I guess I just didn't seem.
I'll tell you what though, the little blonde hair girl, that one shot where she smiles and looks over, she's creepy. That was a creepy little girl.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. So, what do you have? You guys want some?
Yeah. So it's a low budget indie horror, and it's crazy because I'm like, that's all I've been watching lately. And I think it's been well documented that I'm not the low budget horror guy, but I am when it's done well. This is an example of it. And it's also his debut film. So what a way to start your career off. But here's something that I think might blow your minds a little bit. He wrote this story when he was 9 years old. for a third grade project.
Wow.
Now he said it's a little bit different than what it was back then, but so I mean that shows you right there that he's into horror. Like he was into horror from the time he was a little kid, and it shows in this. It's a love letter to the 80s. It's very, very nostalgic. It just feels good. It just makes me feel good. The lore is awesome. The three, the demons, you've already touched on them. The Boogeyman, Candy Corn, Scarecrow, Hollow Jack. The rules he has for Halloween.
Extensive.
I love it. It has a real good pace. I was entertained right from the start, from start to finish. Practical effects. You always appreciate that. And this has... It's got to be 30 to 40 kills in it. So that there's plenty of that to go around. It has an awesome soundtrack, which was written by Rocky Gray, the drummer for Evanescence.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I'll be damned. That's something else, man.
Yeah. You've already mentioned the cameos. And the merchandise. Go check out, what is it? thebarnmerch.com. See for yourself all the stuff they have out for it. Great poster. I'll definitely have this poster on my wall. It looks good, feels good. The acting's good enough. I think something always suffers a little bit with low budget. I mean, something has to give.
It's hard to get really.
Something has to give. So the acting was good enough, but just a great story, very nostalgic, and Frank, like you said, and I think how everyone else has said. It's going to be in my rotation at Halloween. I gave it an 8.
I gave it a 6.
You would, Jared. This should have had the stamp of approval.
We would have had the fucking bells and whistles going off a trophy.
This should be a stamp. This should be a Last Roundup Horror stamp of approval. It's going to be anyway.
He's over using that badge.
I'm going to lower it down to what? So it would be a 22 score of 22 overall.
And
go ahead.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. It hits on the 80s in a lot of great ways. It is low budget, so like Jason was saying, the acting isn't. I mean, it's not stellar performances. I think he hit everything. The thing I like most about it is for what the budget feels. We talked about it on some other movies. Those movies can feel long, and this one goes right through. It didn't start dragging, which always impresses me in a low budget. I really liked the Harvest Party. I can't remember what it's called. And the Rockabilly Band. I thought the Rockabilly Band was great. That whole scene is fantastic. Everybody seems to like the three guys that come out. I definitely don't think they're bad, but that was one of the things. Like I wasn't overly wowed by the monsters in it. The backstory to them was 80s throwback in a way, but again, it just didn't. I wasn't wowed. I had a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. It's a good Halloween movie, and I gave it a 6.
Very good. Okay, here's our review of The Witching Season 2015. Fueled by nostalgia, this anthology of short horror films tells original tales of terror set during the Halloween season. Written by Michael Bailiff, James Morris, Stephen Bailiff, Alan Bradford, David Harris, and Kara Mann Turner. Directed by Michael Bailiff and James Morris. Before we get anything else, I want to give it up.
Hope you're not slaughtering that name. It's B-A-L-L.
Bailiff.
We'll find out, though, won't we?
We will.
Sorry if we messed it up.
We already know by now anyways, because the interview just fucking happened. Or didn't.
So
before we get anything else, I want to give it up to Slasher Dave, who wrote the music for this movie. Yep. This movie show anthology. Is this on your DVD? Yeah. Is it a movie?
No, I don't have it on DVD. They're supposed to be sending me a autographed Blu-ray.
Oh.
Haven't received that yet, by the way.
I bet Jason gives it a good review.
But no, it's I think it's set up the same way. It's season 1, episode 1 through 5.
Yeah,
I don't know if they're going on to season 2 or not.
It definitely seems like it would be put together like.
I'm sure
a movie.
I'll probably just ask that.
A little inside baseball. Jason is doing the interview at a separate time. We're not sitting here quiet while he does it. But yeah, the soundtrack's stellar shit. So give it up to Slasher Dave. And let's get into these segments here, because I want to let everybody know, when you watch these, they are different times.
Yes.
Wildly different in some cases. But the first segment is called Killer on the Loose. And
season 1, episode 1.
Yeah.
Are we, before we go any further?
Yes.
Are you gonna talk about one? We're all gonna talk about what we think about it, or are you gonna talk about all of them? Jason talk about all of them. I talk about all of them.
Same way we did it. We'll talk.
Yeah,
about
I want to go
one.
through it.
It's
gotcha.
Gonna be quick. Probably
refresh my memory here.
Just was wondering.
Let's see, Killer on the Loose. What we have here is it appears to be a girl is running from a killer who is wearing a Jason mask from Friday the 13th, and I was thinking they're gonna have to twist this, or else it's gonna be fucking horrible.
Yeah, this one it is a little confusing. Like, I guess again, I'm probably going to ask him to explain it for me. But so I think it's a couple, like a husband and wife or whatever, that's doing a little like role playing.
Yeah, like
on
Halloween role play.
And he's dressed up in just a generic Jason mask with a machete, coming to the house to meet up with her.
They say on the TV report.
Right.
Oh, this is what you were thinking.
This is what I'm thinking is the synopsis.
Oh, they say she's a escaped mental
No.
patient.
Did you watch this, Jared?
Yeah.
They lead you to believe that this girl is getting chased by Jason.
Yeah, but that's the thing I don't understand is why she is running from the Jason character.
I think she's running from police because they do announce, like Jared said.
She looks out and she looks out the window and sees him, and then like shuts the door real fast.
Yeah,
gets down.
I think that might just be a choice to lead you in the wrong direction.
Yeah, that part was a little confusing, but
essentially this girl that you think is running from this killer is the killer, and the
she
guy
escaped from an insane asylum.
Yeah, the guy in the Jason mask finds his girlfriend with her neck slit, and that's how this whole thing kicks off. I thought it was all right. Like I said, if they wouldn't have done a twist, it would have been like, what the fuck is this?
The first time I seen this, when I seen the hockey mask and the machete, it's like, nah, come on. But no, I see where they go. I think they were doing some role play, having a little fun on Halloween, and then somehow got mixed in.
Now, in general, this whole series of shorts seems like maybe Michael came up with the idea, because it says he's the creator. So I assume he came up with the idea and got his friends together. It was like, here, you do a short, you do a short. But his featured short is very evident which one it is. But it's not the next one, I don't believe. It's the second episode is called Princess.
Oh, you don't care what I think.
Oh, Jared, what did you think about the first?
Well, I did.
You got to jump on those. You got to jump in.
I seen him with his mouth hanging open again. I thought he was going to jump in.
I can wait till the end.
No, let's go ahead.
Well, what did you think about the first segment?
And do you think my synopsis is wrong? Because I mean, what other? They find
if she just escaped.
They find her.
If she just escaped a mental institution, I doubt it's like a husband and wife role.
No. There's two women. The blonde they showed has been dead on the bed.
Yeah.
She's the lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're saying the dead one on the bed's the lady.
The dead one on the bed is his wife.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. But when that made sense to me, I was like, well, so then why is the one that the murderer?
I gotcha.
Why is she running from?
I didn't know.
Go ahead.
I thought you meant like he was chasing the girl running, like they were a couple.
No.
Oh, gotcha.
No.
Okay. Yeah, I actually like this one. I pretty much that beginning part. Jason's right. It doesn't make sense, and it's something that's really easy for me just to be like, that's what makes it work. I'm gonna go with it. It's. No, I think I've said it before. Not being a huge anthology fan, shorts a lot of times feel overdone. The twist at the end was nice. If you get, just skip past the beginning, take it, be like, this is what's happening. I liked this one. So this was actually, I think, my second favorite.
All right. Well, the second episode is called Princess. I did not like this one at all. The idea is there's a stuffed rabbit that it's real creepy looking, admittedly. This little girl finds in the basement of her house, brings it up, starts hanging out with it all the time, and then it's a killer stuffed rabbit thing. My problems with it is that I think I could do this, but there's no puppetry or any elements. It is what it is, man. Watch it for yourself and judge it for yourself. What did you guys think about this little segment here?
This one falls into what my problems with anthologies tend to be, and the first one, like I said, just barely made it out of that. There's nothing wrong with it. There is absolutely nothing wrong with it. Stuffed animals, little girl, she gets in a fight. It's all of them, and I will say before I go any further, I think all of them are shot and put together and acted really well. So they're all, but it just is what it is. It's 15 minutes. Little girl finds stuffed animals in a new house in a basement. She keeps the rabbit. Rabbit tries to kill the mom. Girl kills the rabbit, and at the end a stuffed animal pops up after she thinks they're safe and is probably going to kill them. There's just
make the eyes red or something.
There's just, having grown up reading like old EC comics and the short story horror anthology stuff that I did, especially being big on like Tales from the Crypt. In anthology stuff, if there's nothing new, a lot of times I get bored. And that's my complaint on this one. If you did not spend a lot of time reading and watching Tales from the Crypt, old EC comics, if that is a kind of new thing for you, I think all of these would apply well to you.
Yeah, this one...
but there's just nothing to it other than what it is.
Well, this one specifically, there's not much to this. There's... Well, all the way across the board, really, there's not much dialogue. But this one specifically, there's not a whole lot going on. I don't know. I can't say I didn't like it. It was just it's
is what it is.
It's almost like it was filler, kind of so they end up the little girl ends up chopping the bunny up, but then the bear pops up at the end. It's just like a fun little Halloween short.
It's like rehashed tropes.
It's not the highlight episode of this.
Yeah, if you've watched Puppet Master or Dolls or
nothing, there's nothing bad in it.
but there's nothing that jumps out at all.
It could have been awesome though if they would have had like some puppetry elements or the mouth moving,
Yeah,
make it look evil.
All it really showed was the shadow moving.
I'm guessing that there's not a kind of budget for that stuff.
No,
at
probably
all.
not. But I can find you a guy.
Imagine this is ultra low.
Which is the one why I say like watching.
Which,
this,
by the way, did you watch that? Did you listen to that
what
Justin Seaman interview about the budget?
Uh-uh.
Oh,
You haven't even listened to it?
No.
Oh well, we
listen to
touched
this
on
show.
that. Anyway, let's go. Let's get on to episode 3.
Episode
Cut
3.
me off before I was finishing.
Well, I don't
my
want to get
point.
it. Oh, what? Finish for what?
I was
You still talking about 2?
talking about this. Overall, I was going to say this is low budget, and I didn't.
sure.
I don't think it feels low budget.
No.
I think it's shot well.
The acting's good.
and acted well for like low budget. I think everything is done incredibly well. But it falls to the rehashed tropes of what an anthology is.
The first time I watched this on Amazon, that was the very first thing I noticed is how well it was shot. Like even going back to the first episode where she's running through the woods from the character, everything's shot really well.
Yeah.
On to episode 3, Not Alone. This was one of my favorite ones. It's really short. It's one of the shorter ones, but it gets right to the point. I'm not normally a big alien guy, but I've never seen anyone do shadow aliens before, and that's what this is. A dude just in his apartment. Shit starts rumbling. There's weird shit that happens. He sees a shadow, hits his coat rack, ends up getting consumed by
How many times, like, have you guys had that? Like,
Oh,
how many
yeah.
like growing up or whatever, where you see something, like, you see something in your room, and you know it's freaky and it should not be there. You do a little investigation and you find out it's just a coat on top of the chair or something. Like, that's happened to me several times growing up.
Yeah, I just thought it was directly to the point, and the animation on the shadows was really cool. I liked this a lot. You guys?
Yeah, I mean, it pretty much the same as the other ones. Most of these felt a little less to me like a short and more like a piece of a scene. Like the first one, you're watching a slasher movie, it feels like that point in the slasher movie where the killer is finding the girl or the twist comes in. The second one, it feels like the point where the shit actually unravels in a Dolls movie. This one feels like the first scene
there's
in
not
a
really
movie.
there's not really a story to it.
About alien invasion. There's no, I mean, it's so again, like the other ones, shot really well, looks really good, everything's done effectively, and it just a scene I've seen in a bunch of other movies, and probably for what the budget they had, done really well.
Yeah, the cool thing is they do connect all these stories in one way or another. Like the radio gets on whenever this episode starts is referencing the first thing, and
all this stuff seems to take place right around the same time on the same night.
Yeah, it's definitely in the same world. Did you have any other thoughts on this, Jason?
No, this was a favorite one of my favorite ones. Like I said, because I've had that happen to me several times growing up, where something was there, something I thought was there, but ended up being something else. Whatever that was supposed to be, alien or whatever. I thought it looks really good. I like the way it moved. I'm guessing that was CG. I don't know.
Yeah, it was
like a
shadow.
Yeah,
but it looked well.
Yeah,
it was well done. And again, for the budget they were working with, they did a great job with it.
Yeah, the fourth episode here. This is the club banger right here. This is the one
reason to watch.
He's hanging and actually it's going to be made into a feature.
I was going to say.
I stepped on his line.
Well, no, they had mentioned that to me, but it seemed like I remember them saying
don't mention it.
Don't say anything.
It was on IMDb. That was
okay. So if it's already out there, then yes.
On IMDb, it says that this is going to be made into a feature, and
they are
released in 2000 next year.
Well, they're getting ready to start shooting real soon, next couple weeks.
And I actually, before I knew that, I said I would really love to see a feature made involving the blind clown. Just the blind clown. That's a fucked up. That's a new twist.
I think all the characters in it was pretty good.
Yeah. There is a lot. The Scarecrow's great.
This one does have a little bit of a story. This one does have, and again, it's one that It's the longest one, I believe. So
Yeah, it's about a half hour.
We'll go ahead, Frank.
Well, this is the dude, right? This is Michael
James.
plays the writer.
James.
James.
Yeah, James. Yeah.
It's about a writer that goes to this. Is it a house where a killing happened? So basically, the idea behind this segment is that this writer goes to a house where a murder happened, and he wants inspiration for his next book. So,
I think he's writing a screenplay.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, it starts out with exterior every time he writes. So
I thought that. I thought it. Yeah, I guess that's true.
Good catch, Jared.
Nailed it.
This is a really good segment. You can tell there's a lot of love in this segment. They took the time to do everything properly. I mean, everything's really well taken care of. I think he might have even been referencing whoever wrote this, whichever one of the fellas wrote this, seemed to be maybe putting a lot of his own trials and tribulations into this little piece, because it was basically about having a writer's block. And I can assume, maybe he was making this segment. He's like, well, maybe I should make a blind clown piece. Maybe I should. Maybe this is.
And the bear, the mask, the
knife to meet you.
Oh yeah.
That line got me.
Yeah, no, I thought the bear looked cool too.
Yeah, all the stuff, and what ends up happening is basically he becomes possessed by this. Explain to me what
he tells a story at the beginning of what happened in this house, which is a guy and his wife and
Booth house.
Yes, and he's trying to write and pretty much kills his wife and then himself. And he goes to this because he goes to this house to write, because if there's any place he's going to get the inspiration to write something truly horrifying, it's here. Through it, you see him trying to write stuff. There's a bunch of minis in there that again are like
he's going down a list
that are like the first two. The first one is like he's going down a list of what they're going to be about, and the first one is like, okay, exterior girl running through the woods, and then he has this list of horror monsters. And so like he starts on masked killer and then kind of runs a scene of a masked killer chasing a girl through the tent till he kills her. Gets mad, throws it away. Back to him writing, you see like the ghost of a girl kind of in the background. And then he moves on to Scary Clown. And again, it's a scary clown chasing a girl through a carnival, kind of shows him writing and then shows the scene, and he gets mad and then throws that one away, and then moves on to Scarecrow, and then you get a little scene.
I love scarecrows. I wish they almost would have stuck with that one.
You get a little scene of a girl running through a cornfield.
It was a good one too.
And then the scarecrow comes to life, and the minis are like what the other things are in the rest of the movie. It's just like the known trope scene of a movie of that genre. Then more stuff starts happening in the house. You see the girl. He ends up finding the girl, the one that is in his head while he's writing. Spooky stuff happens. He ends up finding her dead body. After he finds her dead body, through the whole show, they've been kind of dropping little hints.
And that happened after he wrote interior Booth house.
Yeah,
where he was at. So,
but then you see him with a bloody knife, and he goes upstairs. You find out this. They talk. It starts in the beginning. They say it a couple times through it that some people commit heinous acts and die terribly, and they're stuck in this cycle that they must repeat it over and over until they find resolve. Some never do. You find out that the legend he's talking about is him. That's what this one is about.
Yeah, they don't even have to watch it now. They got it.
Well, that's what you told me to do.
Yeah, no, it's a good job. Like this one actually had a story to it, and
yeah. And they do a good job. They do a good job pulling it off. This one's obviously everybody's favorite. All the scenes and all the other ones, what all the other ones are, I watched thinking I would like to watch a movie from these guys.
Yeah, I wish it was like I wish it was do a Scarecrow movie.
This is the one. This is the one short that, even though I don't find the most original.
This was the long, by the way. This is about a half an hour.
Yeah, this is about a half hour. I don't find it the most original. You actually get to see what it would be like if they were making a movie. It's good.
And again, there's very little dialogue. And upon my second viewing of this, James, who plays the main character, there's little dialogue. He does a lot of acting with his eyes. And I got to looking at it, and like he would be really good at like some slapstick horror, like
They do some
a
silly,
Bruce Campbell style where he can kind of just go over the top and be just does crazy looks and stuff like that. I think.
Well, weren't they doing, what was the segment where they were on a TV and they were doing like a cooking?
Yeah,
segment
lots.
or
Yeah,
like
lots.
that?
They do lots of.
They would do a really good slapstick movie.
Yeah, you see him pop in and out a lot.
There is one final segment after this one. It's a really short one. It's called "Is That You?" and basically, it's Halloween.
Trick or treat.
There's a girl who can't go trick or treating. Is that what it is? Something's wrong with her. She's hurt or something.
I think she had a cast on.
Yeah. And she sees somebody standing across the street, thinks it's one of her friends, text messages them, and then ends up being attacked by this creature or whatever it was. A witch, maybe? Is that what it was? What did it look like to you guys? It looked really good when they showed it finally.
A thing.
A monster.
Yeah, that's just a horror movie.
That's what a monster looks like.
That's what a monster looks like. I thought this was fun. It reminded me,
very short.
It reminded me of something you would see on Crypt TV. Like it was that quality, and it was like a fun-sized Snickers of a little horror thing. Any other thoughts on this?
Yeah. Other than, it's the same as all the other ones. Other than they live inside us. I mean, it's the snippet of a movie that you kind of know, and they might have done that. I don't know. They might have stuck to really tried and true tropes so they could shoot 10-minute shorts, because if you do something that everyone knows what you're doing and you know it in and out, then you don't have to explain.
You don't need a big story.
So you can. All of these are ones you can jump in and you already know the whole story.
Yeah, they're just
because you've seen it
little
before.
fun little shorts.
And that's what other than They Live Inside Us, They Live Inside Us is a bit more.
Yeah. Overall, if I'm scoring this as a film, I will give it a solid 6. But I'd rather not do that. I'd rather just say keep making these. If you're gonna make it a show, make it a regular show. Hopefully, it's on Amazon for a long time. I thought it was solid entertainment.
Okay. Yeah. I would definitely like to see season 2. I don't need a whole lot of dialogue, a whole lot of story to these. It's just something fun. Again, just like with some other movies, I'll probably watch this around Halloween all the time. It has a great intro to each episode. I love the sound, the way it looks. It has
Halloween decorations.
Yeah, it has the nostalgic Halloween decorations. I give it a 7. Definitely looking forward to seeing a feature length from them. The soundtrack was good. I don't know if he did the entire bit, which I'll probably ask that question as well. Slasher Dave,
I think so.
The music was good throughout. It shot well. It's put together well. 7.
Yeah, I'm with Jason. Although doing any more of these for what these are, I wouldn't be interested in watching again. But like I said, it's just that Tales from the Crypt thing. I've done that. That was growing up. I've had my fill. There's not.
What about Black Mirror? You don't like
There's-
that? That's similar.
Yeah, but that gets into more Twilight Zone, and they're doing other stuff. This is very tread over ground. Other than They Live Inside Us, everything in here is really tread over. Which, like I said, I mean, I'm not. This may have just been them doing stuff for the first time to be like, what can we do and can we make it look good? And they did. I mean, I would be very interested in seeing these guys do more half-hour original ideas, or definitely would be interested in watching a feature film. Another season of this where it's just like the common tropes and scenes from a movie. I've watched them do it. They're really good. I don't know that I would need to see
Maybe not see as much of them. Like if they're honestly trying to make seasons and not, because I think if you probably put these together, you're probably around 90 minutes.
If they did a season of stuff like They Live Inside Us, I would watch it.
Yeah.
If I'd seen if I seen a season of 10-minute ones that were stuff that I identified right off the bat, I probably wouldn't. But not because of the quality.
I think you would probably watch it again, but there may not be any as much replay value.
I probably won't watch any of these again other than They Live
You
Inside.
tried to milk that one out of him,
It's,
didn't you?
yeah, it's
No, I'm saying season 2. You would watch season 2.
If I turned it on and it started with tried and true tropes, and I saw they were only 10 minutes long, I probably wouldn't. Because
I got time. I'll watch them.
I'll watch it.
yeah, it's really nothing against them. It's just something I've seen. I spent a lot of time reading Tales from the
and
Crypt
you're not
and EC
that big of a
Comics
fan of anthology
and
anyway.
anthologies to begin with.
Anthologies is one of my favorites, especially Halloween anthologies.
And normally my problem with anthologies is they just play over tropes. If they did 10-minute stuff of stuff I've never seen, I would watch it in a heartbeat.
Well, you'd have to watch season 2
But
to know.
But I would if something like that wasn't, if I noticed something like that wasn't coming, I wouldn't. So and again, it's not. I give it a 7. They Live Inside Us was really the only one I watched and enjoyed, like really enjoyed. But I was really impressed with the quality and how good they are at what they do.
So the 7 on technicality. What was your enjoyment score?
We're gonna have to have a separate fucking.
Since you always have 2.
On They Live Inside Us, it's a 7.
Okay.
I'm scoring it off that.
You're scoring the overall 7.
Yeah, I'm scoring pretty much off that.
What'd you give it, Frank?
I gave it I said I gave it a 6 if I'm judging it as a film, but but I don't really want to do that. I just
You should do that.
Okay, as a film, it's a 6. That's our show.
Yeah.
Anything else?